Focus, aim, ready. Focus, aim, ready. Speed up in the race, fall back, no chase. Turn up with the bass, gotta level up your game. Looking for the fight, target inside. An eye for an eye, gotta level to the sky. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. Got nothing to lose and I'm coming for you. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I pull the trigger. Higher level, boom, 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 boom.
Show me who I am, made me who I could become. Raise me from afar while I pick myself apart. Oh, my war has just begun. Song in silence, fake or science, what have we begun? I could tear these walls down or rise above them all. Look how far we've come. Da-dee-da-da-da-da. I'm a survivor, rascal of pariah. How far we've come, you and I, for eternity. Put on your war paint, let it show on your face. How far we've come, we as one for infinity. We as one for
Okay guys, we did it. Now it's time to break into the Telosium generator room.
Telosium, huh? The powerful and unstable energy we need.
I must say, seems like a trap.
Not just seems, definitely is.
And we're going in like this?
Of course, we need energy.
And I'm not in the mood to recharge in an outlet.
Well done. Was easier than we thought.
Every time you open your mouth, something bad happens.
Ouch. That hurt. Remember, this mouth is ours. Do you know who the cowboy is?
Not a clue.
In any case, we agree that he deserves our best treatment, right?
My friend, we'll have to agree. You gave us the best gift of all!
Shiro, where the heck have you been?
Sorry, boss. Training overran.
Training? You're a delivery boy. And I've got a code red job for you. Package incoming.
No way. Claw? I wish I could fight like him.
Stop dreaming, kid, and get moving. My client isn't the only one who wants that package.
Motion through the wasteland. Know that we ain't playing, we just sticking to the game plan. You can call it hunger every morning, gotta break fast. Even though the clothes and all focus on the baselands. They call me a legend in the making, but I don't need the praises. I know life is what you make it. Mine ain't made for conversation. I'm a legend in the making, but I don't need the title. Stay ahead of all my rivals.
traffic problems. Maybe Albert is not as appealing. Looking up to us, huh? Now they trying to get some love, right?
Hey! Put it all on the kid.
No, wait, I'm not here to fight. This is what I'm playing for, but I came to take it home. Scent of uncertainty in the air. I love it! Let's go! We relish making decisions. We delight in making our opinions count! And now that I'm in control, this game is in our hands. So, it's your call.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is a Free Fire World Series USA 2026 Summer Group Stage, Week 2, Day 2, the penultimate day of the group stage, where 3 matches for today for each team gives an opportunity to climb up the leaderboard to make it the top 12 or top 18 by tomorrow. But the top 2 on the caster's desk, especially in English, are here. Neptune the Gentleman Garcia with my brother, the Musashi AJ, and we will be your casters all throughout this tournament.
Absolutely. The top 12 is a flex. The top 18 is for survival, all right? And obviously, there are some teams who are just playing at the top 12, looking to see if or not they can dominate, looking to see if or not they can execute some of these rotations out there that they can pull through in the grand finals later on as well, guarantee themselves a booyah. Teams like DZ and GCT Arrow have been doing it absolutely perfect thus far. DZ initially stealing away. Can I say stealing away? No, they earned it, but they stole it away from teams like GCT Arrow. We're talking about the bounty. Yesterday, GCT snatched it for themselves. I've got, of course, a big question here. Is it going to be the same 2 dominators, or we're going to see some of the others wake up as well, right? Because UZ Esports, I'm pretty sure they are eyeing that money as well, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, an extra 375 for the teams right there for each day, but it means that they get to, or they need to get a lot of elimination on all of these matches. So let's see, though, if this is where they make it work. In a bit, we're going to have a few highlights as well, where we review some of the matches that we have. And you did mention about the GCT Arrow, where they really dominated from yesterday. They got their 4th booyah, and though they're catching up in terms of elimination, in terms of placement point, I think they are on par with these esports.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a few others as well who are just waking up slowly but surely. We're talking about Caesar. We're talking about Team ZT. I mean, the ZAM team definitely zapped it up yesterday. I feel like, they're kind of stepping up their pacing a little bit in terms of rotation. It may seem like the squad just suddenly went quiet, right? Not getting as many eliminations. But I feel like Team ZT is onto something. They've already noticed that their rotations are most of the time getting cut off. They're not as consistent when it comes to some of those survival, antics rather than the engagements. Because in a full-blown 4v4, I think ZT has already proved themselves many times already. But something that's stopping them has been the other squads like Zeus, for example, who are just relentless in this 4v4 as well, and getting across them, or coming across them in the early parts of the game really does not fare well for many of these squads now.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, if you're faced off with Gaviota, who's really deadly, not only in the Mag 7, but also in M590, that'll be a tough one to beat. MiaCorp, though, showed a little bit of finesse from yesterday, but there were a few instances where they were taken down a little bit early into this fight. So hopefully they will prove their worth because the first game that they had only 6 points, so it's not something that we see from champions. But you know how it is with MiaCorp. They clutched that champion rush from previous season, and there's a good chance that they will be able to do it for today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, top 12 is just a flex, and MiaCorp doesn't need to flex. They've already got tickets to Paris, tickets to the Esports World Cup. Brother, I don't know what can be a bigger flex than that. They're just going to waltz into the grand finals here. Of course, definitely a grand finals capable squad. That's in the first place how they managed to steal it away towards the end, right? But one team that stepped it up yesterday, which I was very happy to see, was Fisher Tiger. Probably not in the engagements, but just pure survival, right? Stuff that Team ZT finds a little bit of struggle in doing. I think Fisher Tiger played perfectly in 2 of their games yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we're really looking forward to for Fisher Tiger is bringing in a lot of points because they're very close to the top 18 if they're going to, we're going to look at for a 2-day perspective. But you know for a fact that some of the teams want to get there as well. Delta's above them is somewhat in only 1 point difference against them, so they need to hustle fast, either to take down Delta's Esports or they just leave them behind. And that is a tough contend for Fisher Tigers as well as Delta's Esports, but that would depend on what position they will be taking on the drop spot.
Yeah, I want to say yesterday INV had a rough day, but I don't think they would be feeling that at all, mainly because it's a squad that has already picked up massive points. I think they had a very relaxed approach to their day yesterday. So yes, we did see INV Esports get taken out way too early in a few of those engagements, but I think that was purely intentional, right? Because, you know, we've harped on this many times already, but we do it for a good reason. You're only looking for the top 18, man. It's only the bottom 6 who are in really, really big danger. We're talking about Deltas, we're talking about Fish and Tiger, Royal Tiger, Crazy Minds, as well as Round 1. And the ones that they're closest to are teams like Flash, Stellar Esports, O1 Esports. And if anything, I think O1, Stellar, as well as Flash have shown up on the battlefield quite a little bit, especially Flash with their Booyah Neptune.
Oh yeah, I do agree. I mean, like O1 Esports, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done for the team because judging from the average that they have, especially with the maps that they will be playing for today, it seems very low. And by the end of the day, I'm expecting them to be pushed down on the 18th spot because of how the average work. But again, we've seen in some instances after a day's work, they suddenly rise up the following day. So if that is the case for O1 Esports, teams like Flash, Delta's Esports, Fisher Tigers, even Royal Tigers will have a hard time to catch up.
Yeah, we're going to be checking out the leaderboard in a little bit just to see exactly where these squads sit. You know, we're talking about the bottom 6, we're talking about the top 12, 18. Might as well give you guys a little bit of a visual on it as we continue this conversation, because mainly we are looking at quite a big gap for some of these squads here in terms of catching up. If you look at where Delta's Esports is on the 19th spot, to make a jump, to catch up in Flash, they're going to need about 49 points. Man, that's really steep, Neptune. And they've got 2 days to get it done, which means it's not a lot of opportunities. So it's only 6 games.
Yeah, it's far away from the average from Delta's Esports, so that's one reason as well why we need to. They need to hustle fast. We've seen in like last week game, day after day, we've seen some of the teams are the top dogs being eliminated early. So I'm really looking forward for those to happen, especially if they're comfortable enough in their position. But we know for a fact that there's also a race for that elimination, and also if they really want to practice to get into the grand finals, get the top spot, and grab that $10,000, then this is the best time for them to do so, because that out of the $35,000 prize pool means a lot for the team, and they can like carry it over even next season.
Amen, brother. You gotta earn that dub, man. 35K USD on the table, and anybody that makes it into the grand finals gets to have a slice of this pie. How big that slice is, if you've got a big little appetite that you want to satiate, you gotta go for the biggest slice available. Everybody obviously wants it. Very few can get it done. And Neptune, I think a few teams that have proven that they can pull stuff off like this have been like teams like ZMF, teams like Nova Esports, Celtic GG. Yesterday, man, we were talking about the awakening of Hugo, and Hugo, the guy woke up in a big way. He was walking away from matches with 7-8 eliminations. I mean, the guy was a monster yesterday, and I want to see more of that today as well.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, especially with snipers coming up in the squad, Shadow 7 with Sanchez 7, Hugo really has a contention on that. Even Medina from ZT, there's a lot of snipers that has been showing up, and it's a little bit late what we expect that would be the format from these games. Because so far, the snipers has been buffed up already. The sniper rifles has been buffed up already. And it shows that it like the team from US hasn't adapted to it just yet. It's only halfway through the group stage wherein we're seeing all of those. Even some of the teams have multiple marksman or sniper rifles for them, even if it's not Kalahari. So they are slowly adjusting to the current meta, but like hopefully they're not worried about the next update. If those changes would be drastic, then it would be another L for the team.
Absolutely, man. Let's take a look at the format here before we move on. We have got the group stage running now. This is a double round robin. We completed the first round last week. Each group plays 3 games in each match day to determine the overall score. And you have got 6 matches within a day. So we have got 6 games today. And the first 3 games will be played between 2 groups, and the final 3 games will be played by the other 2 groups. We've got a combination of A and C for the first 3 games, and B and D for the final 3. And of course, we have got 6 match days in total, which we are running out of, Neptune. We are only left with today and tomorrow. So the hustle is on, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a little correction to what I mentioned yesterday. It's 18 matches. The team are going to, or each team is going to play all throughout the group stages. So they might have been expecting a lot if they carried on a number of 36, because 18, 3 per day, and there's just less momentum that's being taken by the team, even in the first half or second half. But hopefully they'll be able to bring more of that in elimination. If they are aiming for that additional bounty for each day, then go ahead and go for the elimination. But if they're still in a matter of practicing their final circle rotation, finding out where they need to drop, and then rotate to avoid Titans, then like they will be left leaving out on all those bounties, and adjustments might not pull through in time.
Yeah, speaking of avoiding Titans, right? Teams like Ruthless have not been avoiding the Titans. I've been thoroughly impressed with what Ruthless has been able to do so far. You know, having these big engagements against big squads, but they're not a very heavy engagement squad, right? They try to avoid these sorts of confrontations, but in a fight, man, these guys slap. They get quite far in these circles. I feel like their placement points have been very, very impressive. I think this is a team to look out for in the grand finals for sure, if they can keep this up, Neptune.
I do agree. I mean, from yesterday's game, I think they put up like all 3 matches, double digits on number, double digits on elimination. So I'm really loving that they're also close to that top 3. Let's say 100% in the top 4, especially with that Purgatory wherein they got eliminated on the 4th place. But I'm really looking forward to how Ruthless is going to work things around, because from yesterday's matches, what they've done most of the time are just go for the third party. They're not really engaging on the CQZs until it's needed, but they have that potential of winning that gunfight on those CQZs. But more of the long-range engagement has been put up by Ruthless as well as a third party. So this is a team that might surprise everyone towards the end.
I'm hoping for them to pull a surprise, just like how Mia Corp pulled a surprise. I don't think anybody else was thinking that Mia Corp was going to be able to sneak this one away, but they did exactly that, right? And this is what we're expecting, of course, in the grand finals when Champion Rush is in the equation. But for now, it's once again the survival of the squads down in the bottom 6. Again, Deltas, who are in the 19th spot, the one that's closest to make the break into the top 18, is 49 points behind the squad that's in the 18th spot, and that team is Flash. Flash is no chump squad. Flash knows how to fight a good game. Flash knows how to get that booyah so far. Many teams here in the current league has got their ways of walking away that booyah, right? Which is exactly what makes what DZ and GCT have done so far with their booyah numbers very impressive, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, impressive enough. The booyah is one thing that we really don't need right now, but it's a good thing that they're starting to show that they can get those booyahs. So those team that haven't gotten or only got one of those, I think they will be struggling with the current format, with Champion Rush format that we have. So it's something that they need to work on. And one reason why some of the teams has been passive enough not to go for the early engagement, like halfway through, if not a quarter, like only a quarter remaining within the match, that's the only time they engage, because they're just trying to find their rotation towards that final circle. Brings them closer to that booyah, brings them closer to achieve most that like what the teams has been aiming for, especially in the champion rush condition. So I'm really looking forward that they can fix it right now. That there's still another stage after the group stage, but again, you don't want to risk that knockout stage to be practicing all those rotations.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be doing that. Knockout stage is going to be practicals, right? Practicals in terms of the top 12 maintaining their spot and trying to make sure these guys down at the bottom there who are trying to make the survival in the top 18 do not make it through. It's just going to get harder and harder in each and every single one of these lobbies because, you know, still here at the group stage, you may have a possibility of farming some of these squads. But later on, when we thin down the number of squads that we have out there, when everybody on the battlefield is something of a titan sort of a caliber, then you're going to have a problem harvesting these elimination points on the battlefield. I mean, imagine the weakest squad on the battlefield is ZMF Esports. Yeah, they'll give you a run for your money, man. We've got a situation for sure where very creative, active, and passive skill combinations have been spotted out here in the Free Fire World Series USA. And as they get prepared for bigger stages in the future, we see these teams catching up with the meta. Like you pointed out, maybe not everybody is comfortable making the big switch over to the snipers just yet, except, of course, the snipers of the squads themselves, which made no changes. I think you're looking forward to seeing some of these squads, Neptune, have that secondary weapon as that sniper or the marksman, just so that they can play that ranged game a little bit more. And that's something that we have definitely been missing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of teams has been moving, not only with AWM as well as M24. Some of the teams are using even Winchester on the mid-range. Like, mid-range CQC is questionable because most of the time, like, VSKs is one of those that is being used. The fire rate was just phenomenal, and the reload is just faster compared to the other marksmen that we have. But Winchester is being used by even the rushers or the support of the team so that they can give that extra firepower on the mid to long range. So that's one thing that we keep seeing not only in this region but also in the other regions, and we know for a fact that some regions will have their own strategy. Some regions like USA from the beginning, they are aggressive, but they need to loosen up, and slowly we're seeing that loosen up on that CQC, more of the long range and even with the meta. But I'm still looking forward to those adjustments. You did mention about the changes in active skill. We've seen more of the Iris in Battle Royale here compared to other regions. So hopefully this is something that they can pull off as a surprise for the other teams, especially for MiaCorp on that EWC stage.
Yeah, I'm very much in favor of the Iris, but I'm torn as well because there's so many active skills out there that's very viable. So it really depends on the play style of each and every single squad out there. The Iris is not the easiest to use in terms of getting an elimination on the battlefield as a sniper, but because you've got the Nero, right? You've got the Moz, you've got the Skylar, and you know these three active skills have. But like you said, in the USA, we still see that Iris, that informational gameplay is very strong because the snipers are always trying to get that info off of their opponents and allow their rushers to get the job done with the M590. I don't see that as a very big weak point because, man, you don't know what the next meta shift is going to be, right? So you better keep your front line as active as possible, because these snipers don't stay dominant for a long time as part of the meta. But it's good to see the return of the sniper. But the return of the sniper this time is on a more balanced meta, where the front lines are still equally as important. But you know what, Neptune, I'm getting a little anxious here because I'm awaiting our first match of the day, and I want to know exactly who's going to be dominating. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to be jumping into the game in a little bit. And the very first matchup in itself, again, Neptune, is going to be dragging us for a Bermuda game between groups A and C.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen in Bermuda, a lot of teams has been surviving towards halfway through in the game, and it's getting chaotic overall.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's in many instances that one building that has 3 floors, you can take the, or not 3 floors, but as 2 floors, you can take the rooftop, the second floor and the ground floor. You can survive towards the final circle, and then afterwards, that's when all the chaos happens. So I'm really looking forward for them to pull away from that, do something like Shadow 7 has been doing for the longest time, keeping their distance. I think it was followed as well. It was done as well by Team ZT, just to keep their distance and so that they will not be in trouble, then get that booyah towards the end.
You sounded like a hotel manager for a second there, man. You're telling people like, you can rent out for your event. Our second floor, the rooftop, we've got a great view here.
I might be a good real estate agent.
you might definitely be one, man. Game 1, Bermuda. We're going to be swimming through from start to end to check out exactly who's going to be the first booyah winners of the day, whether this is going to kickstart the dominance. But either way, you're not really going to have a super dominant day through 3 games, right? The momentum pickup is quite staggered. You might not be able to get to top flight before the end of your play day. Each squad will have only 3 games available to them. As we kick off match number 1, we see Zeus is up and out of the flight early.
Yeah, I mean, tough flight definitely coming from this team of Zeus. The target most of the time for the team is either Bullseye Shipyard or Graveyard. Hopefully not Graveyard, the real thing, because they want to survive a little bit further into this fight. But Zeus Esports now in Plantation, and just like that, they go for the battle against Caesar. The pickup has been done. Gaviota quite quick on the buttons right there, and saving King in a perfect timing. But the only question though is, will they be able to completely annihilate Caesar at this point?
Yeah, Caesar's looking like they are spent. They can't do much in this situation. But they do manage to get those pickups, though. And the Mini Uzi Darius on fire. He's got the VSS as well, but not using it for a single second in that elimination process. Understanding that speed is all what it's about. And we talked about Caesar waking up yesterday. Looks like they haven't gone to sleep just yet.
I don't know what toll they will be taking right now, especially sleepless nights. But Bullseye, a good chance to loot, and 800 coins already. So a good chance that he will, MJ, or TMJ rather, will be able to revive a couple of players. But going back to Delta's favorite spot would be Rimnam Village. ZMF though, Yancy managed to revive Kevin. Now let's see on what Yancy can do right now against the triple player of Delta Esports.
Deltas needs 49 points, more than Flash, to overtake them on the leaderboard. That's a tall task for sure. But if Deltas can make it to the final circle 3 times in a row, if Deltas can walk away with maybe a booyah or 2, that might not be an impossible ask by the end of the day. But Mia Corp, the ones who walked away as champions for a previous season, shutting them down from afar. Kappa will be able to fish one out. And it looks like they are going straight into Rimnam Village. They want to fish a little bit more.
Yeah, there's one thing that we've seen from Mia Corp more often than not. After going for that drop, they rotate to Rimnam Village, and then later on, if the zone permits, they would be heading north. So Deltas might be in trouble. Next right now, AC-80, a rare occurrence that we're seeing this marksman in play, but it still have the firepower. Biblix in there with a VSK takedown against Dali. So the sniper from Deltas has been taken out already, and they just need to find those boxes. Poco Scene right now might be taken down, and another one left behind. Deltas might be in trouble.
Yeah, man. I mean, ZMF, I think Jans took a shot at them with the cord, and instantly they switched their attention over to the back. And Jans like, wait, finish that fight. What are you doing? He gets hunted down. And Mia's just confused, like, wait, why didn't we get a squad wipe? We just took them all out. They realized at this point of time, they just bumped into somebody else. Celtic sorting out the rest of the players on the side of ZMF. We talked about how they can be strong, but split up on the battlefield, picking on 2 different squads, probably not the best survival strategy.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, if Yancy just kept quiet, if Yancy just didn't shoot, then he could have survived, and they will be chasing Chris in there as he used that launch pad. But Caesar right now, sees Suze. Now
man.
it's King right here. Round 2 of this battle, but it's only one player. King right now being shot at by that cord. And Darius wants to land that final blow. 5 elimination already for Caesar. And they're still leaving Suze down in the dust.
Yeah, I mean, all 5 points, all thanks to Zeus, who were cheeky enough to drop by their compound to say hello. And Cartel, they were saying, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to do business with you. Yeah, it's beautiful. He gets hunted down, brings UCL back into the play before getting taken out of the equation. At least some coins well spent. Flash, who understand the Deltas will be looking to improve their play today, will be looking for a couple of booyahs to make sure they stay clear of that bottom side of this 18 squads. Obviously, you want to be in the top 18, but you don't want to be in the 18th spot.
Exactly. I mean, that would be a cliffhanger, especially we still have one more day tomorrow, and we just started today. So there's a lot of shuffle that will be happening. But for Mia Corp, let's see what shuffle they are going to do right now. A 3 or 2-1-1 split coming from the squad, and they will be meeting up with Flash, who's grouped up close and personal. And one jump and a headshot might happen for this guy with M590, but they need to back away, and God name from Joshua hits that Kobe!
What a nade! Joshua the monster! Replic bleeding out. Biblix will find one as well. And Flash Esports out in a flash. Mere Corp Savages pulling out the lightning zone, pressuring them from away from that wall to look for some defense, and a anticipatory grenade from hell. Phenomenal play out of Mia.
That's one thing. I mean, you mentioned about the trouble that Flash would be having if they will not get that point. On the 18th spot, I think they will definitely be in trouble. But the lead is still huge, so there's still a few catching up, though. They're just giving away to Deltas, who slowly get all those points, move or reduce the numbers from 49 to whatever they can bring in the table. But they need to survive because Deltas Esports has been annihilated, or each player has been annihilated more often than not.
Yeah, smart play by QE here. They spotted out the players of 90 Piketty Esports on top of Factory, and they're like, deal with my lightning zone, fools. They pull it out, and then they just didn't need to do much after that. They sent everybody scrambling to look for cover. Brilliant play, but I don't know if that was an expensive play. Now they're going to have to back away and look for more coins. Fisher Tiger, big rotation out in the open. Lightning Zone did manage to find the connection onto 90 Piketty Esports, but what that did was make sure that QE gets to back away untouched. But in the meantime, Fisher Tiger and Mia showing up. 90 Piketty, it's a big bet to sit up here on the silos. But they're taking advantage of the fact that there is a vending machine right down below if anything goes south.
Yeah, I do agree, and that's one thing as well. Before that shrink of the circle, I think they're already in the middle of the previous one. So they're just anticipating where the next phase would be coming in. And now that we have it on to the second phase, then there's a good chance that they will just be guarding this area. They might, they are on edge of that next circle. And for QE, one move that they did is just they moved south and in anticipation of the same. So this time, it's a battle between who's in the middle and who's on the edge.
Yeah, man. 90 Piketty, although quite in the open, they definitely have a great positioning for the next circle. Celtic GG out of the equation here. Biblix down on the ground. The shot from 1NT, finding the perfect connection. Shadow 7 will make their no, not exit. They've taken the fight straight to Mia. Joshua down. Kappa, the final one. And they are harvested by the players of Shadow 7. Mia Corp did not see that one coming at all. They were trying to make that rotation because Factory was getting a tad bit too crowded. They wanted the spot closer to Mars Electric. But Shadow 7 said, we were trying for it first. And by the way, QE is there, so you got to back away, boys. They shut them down in the perfect way. But Mia, not out with nothing. 10 elimination points before that elimination from the lobby keeps them in a decent spot in the top 12.
Yeah, definitely. Now, from shadows into the light, Shadow 7 eliminated Mia, but they need to deal with QE. Only question, though, is will Almir at least land one shot onto Misago? That launch pad is already prepared just in case a knockdown happens, but Pulgita goes in for the backstab. A pinch is about to happen, but Misago, Woodpecker takedown, and it is not a surprise. Crazy going for a crazy move, but that glue wall saves him, and Shadow 7 still have a fighting chance.
Piece of gold.
Oh no!
590 is there, but Almir with the drive-by M590 play. Perfect. Just to harvest at one point that Shadow 7 still in oh man. 1NT shutting down the rest of their players.
What?
Unfortunately, Shadow 7 could not get out of this pickle. They were trying to avoid QE. They saw the players of what squad was that earlier? Mia dropping by. They had to take that fight. They were forced to. And in that desperation, they did manage to take Mia out. But QE just had a positional advantage. This boys had nowhere to run and clearly did not have a mini launcher on them.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, from QE, I'm seeing three rush approach against Shadow 7. First was that launch pad where Pulgita went in behind the player from Shadow 7, and then the vehicle approach as well, and even that rush on foot. So that's three way that you can go for a rush, a great way to surprise on one player. If it is a squad, then definitely they have to do it all the same time. But it's a good thing that they managed to do it in time before 1NT gets on to that place. But Zeus Esports taking that ultimate airdrop, but for Caesar, they're taking this usual airdrop, and hopefully they can get into next phase circle, because Pachinok or Mars Electric is a little bit far away, and they might be taken by the blue in a bit, or gatekeep by the different team later on.
Absolutely, man. 1NT has been doing fine in terms of survival so far. All they've done is camp and shut down anybody that rotates around their compound. Perfect defensive strategy, and it has worked out perfectly for them in terms of the circle read. Now, they've camped away for quite a while. They now have to step out into the open, and I'm just a little curious. Where is the squad of Zeus? Because we saw them on that mighty reset earlier on, and we haven't spotted them again.
Last time we saw them was that Zeus Esports, I think it was TMJ, with a action movie motorcycle takedown. But NA, the sniper from Night Spaghetti, the best sniper I would say in these groups, has been eliminated by none other than Fisher Tiger. But the battle is not over for Fisher Tiger. It's ZMF who's trying to clear them out as the zone closes in against them. And you were asking about Zeus Esports, so I think from Clock Tower and judging from where the circle is, they might just be in the west side of Factory.
Ken is on fire today. Ken Fan with the shots from afar. The one that took out the final player on the side of Ninepkeri Esports. And again, that was just way too open of a spot for Ninepkeri to hold on to for so long. And even when the next circle's not favoring them, they didn't really look to make a move. Instead, looking for that high ground advantage, which turned out to be a big disadvantage for Ninepkeri in terms of survival.
Now, here we go. Zeus disrupting the safety of 1NT, but UMJ has been taken down. SKS from Chris 9, and Deltas is still in play. Despite of almost being eliminated in Rimnam Village, they are back and just waiting, and they lost one of the players. Now the focus is onto Deltas Esports. 1NT, since they're not responding to any shots coming from Zeus Esports, they can't be left behind for the moment.
The worst case scenario for Flash is breaking down right now on the battlefield. Deltas, who are chasing them down, wanting to replace them on that 18th spot, is alive and kicking and still hunting for points. 6 eliminations strong. They're definitely looking for the top 3. Question is, how is your end game preparation? Do you have enough glue walls? Because this is a battle out in the open, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. Another team that is close behind Deltas is Fisher Tiger. There's also part of the team. So definitely Flash is in a nightmare right now. And hopefully they're just waiting for this to end so that they can wake up, a little bit refresh, and then fight in for their chance later on. But Deltas right now going for the rush for the final 2 players of Zeus Esports, or 3 players rather. But here we have it. It's 1NT that they will be in a fight with Zeus Esports. Gaviota, no opening just yet with that for that M590, and they need to move fast because they're just an edge where Fisher Tiger or Deltas and 1NT can gun them down.
Absolutely, man. It's getting a tad bit crowded here. Zeus, Deltas, 1NT, 3 squads, tiny compound. They are all stacking up because this is the very precious source of defensive spot that they can find in this next circle. If it's not here, it's open grounds. One player from the side of Deltas dropped down to the ground. Almir taken out of the equation as well. Brian 21, AWM in hand. King with a woodpecker from the other side, shutting down, or at least attempting to shut down the players on the side of Fisher Tiger, who once again are very impressive with what they're doing in terms of survivability. Fake 8 with the double elimination. ZMF really being shown the door out of this lobby, but they're still hanging on for their dear lives through Uziel.
And there's one thing that I'm seeing right now. Since they cannot deal with teams like Deltas or 1NT within the same compound, they're moving outwards. Zeus Esports on Fisher Tiger. We have 1NT onto QE, and ZMF will be eliminated by Cardinal Soar, and they might be the ones bringing the trouble into the party. Fisher Tiger being taken now, and that's just from the shots from the window of Zeus Esports.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's the final elimination for Zeus. The rest of the players on the side of Fisher Tiger were all farmed by Deltas. 3 eliminations went their way. They definitely took those shots at the right moment, at the right time. Now they'll have to step out of this house in a little bit, but the lightning zone called upon them by another squad here. In fact, called upon everyone. Potentially QE or 1NT could be the culprits here. Chris 9 down on the ground. Zeus Gaviota M590 flying on through, gets a double for himself. Dali sorts him out. That's a 2v1 in that situation, but King is here for the play. Poco's in surviving. A sliver of health left on him, and that MP40 going in for the pickup, and 1NT sorts Zeus out, but the battle ain't over just yet for Deltas as 1NT shuts them down. The 3-way battle going the way of 1NT, but Deltas definitely picked up decent number of points there.
Yeah, 1NT, no empty threats right here. They know exactly how to position themselves, keep away from those engagement, and the perfect timing to jump into the fight. Caesar, though, 2 players remaining after annihilating ZMF. They might be in trouble, especially being on the sides of QE. And Kesikaya, let's see if they will be able to finish them off before 1NT gets into their area.
I am on the side of 1NT in this final circle. 1NT has not enjoyed a single booyah so far. This is their time to get it done. Can they reach up for the top spot? Even Caesar has got 2 booyahs to their name. QE has 2 booyahs to their name. 1NT needs to earn this one off, but Muslim says no. Oh, Fabian, Andre, both responding perfectly. The grenade out of Almir, though, just managing to find the destruction. Caesar's out, and Fabian says, I've got some nades to play around with too. Armir taken out of the equation. This is the moment for 1NT to secure their first booyah in the group stage run, and they do it in a phenomenal way.
Exactly, and 1NT, after going in for that compound gameplay against 3 teams, focusing on Kesikaya in the beginning, but couldn't shut them down. Towards the end, they managed to eliminate them and grab that booyah. And 1NT grabbing their first booyah of this group stages. Really looking forward to more of them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a damn good run. They were, like I said, camping, and many people think, oh, that team is camping, they are not a good squad. Man, it's a survival 101. You don't go running and gunning, right? I mean, some squads can definitely do that. That's their play style. 1NT just preferring a more modest approach to the final line for that booyah, just managing to make sure they don't get into a lot of trouble in the overall grand scheme of things as they were looking for that final circle, right? So survivability was fine on their side. One thing that 1NT definitely needs to look out for a little bit here is Neptune not being too high on those eliminations. But I was very surprised towards that final circle, once they had kind of guaranteed top 5 for themselves, they started taking these very precious shots, and it was all about the positioning at the end of the day in terms of how they played that final circle.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's a usual tactics wherein you are silent from the beginning, and then halfway through, or once you get position, similar to what we've seen in 1NT, that's where you started rocking it with elimination. It might not bring you that high of points, but sure enough, you will be getting that booyah as well towards the end. So that's just one of the tactics, and it's pulling away from the usual gameplay that we see in the USA, because again, elimination has been the priority in most of the teams.
Yeah, man. And you saw the lightning zone. Okay, it was Miyakop in that situation up against. Okay, this is not the final circle, my bad. I'm curious about which was the genius that pulled out that lightning zone in the final circle, because it just made the space a little bit more chaotic, preventing a lot of these rotations out. I think Deltas got caught out big time by that lightning zone, but not in this situation, like how Miyakop met their end. They just did not expect such ferocity out of Shadow 7. Shadow 7 later on then, of course, got eliminated by QE, who took advantage of that situation. They had their high ground. Shadow 7 could not get away because they tried to run the other way and they found 1NT.
That's one thing. I mean, it's really tough for Shadow 7, especially on that takedown that they received from QE. But CMF being eliminated by Cezur, that opens up the gate for Cezur to go in for that rotate. And this is the final compound gameplay we're in. Zeus Esports, we know they're strong, but with one player missing from them, seems like they don't have that much in the front line to go against both Deltas. And again, on the timing of 1NT was just prestige, when they can steal away all those knockdowns as well as win that compound for themselves.
Absolutely, man. And it was a fine showing with those grenades. I mean, Fabian was on point. Definitely the MVP for me personally in this matchup. And 1NT proving that they can play the game of Booyah as well. Count, Brian 21, Fabian, as well as Andre. Phenomenal performance in terms of survivability. This is what we want to see out of not just them, but all the squads out here. 4 eliminations, 5 assists, 1,118 on the damage. Andre is your MVP with the Oscar. Definitely a tank as he ran through all of those plays. But, you know, aside from the Winchester, the M590 was just hitting like a truck out of this guy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really loving how well they can switch it up with an M590 and a Winchester as well, because you need that kind of adaptability. But onto the head-to-head, we've seen Chris 9, one of the Deltas that managed to survive that final battle, final rush by Mia again in Remnam Village, and managed to revive the teammate. For 1NT Cone, we've seen him from yesterday so much, but for today, it's more of a team effort coming from 1NT.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And Deltas, I mean, praises to them as well, because they are a squad that's trying their best to find their way into the top 18. Not a easy run at this point of time. Very clearly, the squads are proving to all be very active. Even though they are very comfortable in the top 12, they're still looking for those big points. So nobody's showing any mercy out there, regardless of where they sit on the table. But 1NT definitely farmed well in this lobby, but it was not a top-heavy game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not so much of elimination compared to what we've seen. No 20s just yet, but it's enough for them to really put themselves on the board right now. They're still part of the top 12, but they will be higher, especially with the Booyah that they have. The question, though, is for some teams who are going for the catch-up. It's a good thing Deltas managed to get a few more points to their side. If I'm mistaken, they did manage to get 11 elimination out of there and 7 on the placement point. So that brings 18 points for them against the 49 that they need to do against Flash. But since Flash didn't do that much, I think this is a good run for Deltas Esports to catch up.
Yeah, they're still going to be about in the 40 range away from Flash. Getting 40 points more than Flash in 3 games is very difficult, because Flash is a decent squad, right? I feel like, you know, they got eliminated a tad bit early here. Unfortunate for them, but they're very careful as to where they are sitting on the overall leaderboard. We know Flash has actually missed out one of their games, so they're running 1 match short here. I don't think they're going to look to mess up anything for themselves in terms of how much more they pull away from these matches. I don't expect them to miss any more games, and I definitely expect them to pull away big points after this. But Stellar Esports somehow finds themselves on a tiebreaker with Flash, and they have now ended up in the same kind of hot soup.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Stellar hasn't been played just yet because of Booyah that has been taken by Flash Esports, and the few points that they got from that game, they managed to move up a little bit away from Deltas Esports. But let's see on how it's going to work on to the next map in Purgatory, because we know that this brings chaos. And again, I'm really loving how the team is treating this map. Even on the fair flight path, it seems like they're going against teams as if it is a skewed flight path. So hopefully they continue this. They get all those early eliminations in the beginning of that game, and then they bring in the numbers towards the end so that they can get, I'm talking about Deltas as well as Fisher Tiger, get crossed to that top 18.
Yeah, speaking of skewed flight paths, you love Purgatory because that's exactly what it offers, a potential to bring disaster into these lobbies. I am excited for this next map. I want to see if or not we do get such chaos very early on in the game, because yes, some teams go out there for the hunt, but some teams just have got no choice sometimes when we head on into Purgatory, Neptune.
Yeah, let's see though. Neither heaven nor hell can say the team that would not be getting that much elimination in this fight, that much point in this battle, because this is game number 2 of the first group for today. So we're looking forward to movements from Fisher Tigers, Delta's Esports, and even those who tried to get away from that 18 spot, but looking at where the teams will be flying in. Plight Path would be coming in from north, just next to Moth House, heading into Fire Brigade. It's still skewed, but not so much skewed that might force the team to that early engagement.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Now let's see where 1NT heads on to here. Potential clash up against Celtic. And this is going to be a big fight very early on for 1NT. ZMF, on the other hand, have got a little bit of high ground advantage here just off of Moat House. But I'm more concerned about this situation that's breaking down here. Celtic Gaming up against 1NT. 1NT off of that Booyah, their very first one. Don't tell me they get slapped with that Booyah curse straight after.
Well, let's see now. And we were talking about Vision beginning of the show. They have, or 1NT does have a quota right now, and they've spotted most of the players of Celtic Gaming. Cone, not a weapon of choice, especially in this long range against Lautas, and Lautas does have the AN-94, so that shot, the moment he steps out, might be shot at and taken down. Ken Pando trying to jump his way around, trying to survive, but Fisher Tiger eliminated a little bit early. It's because of QE and Caesar in the same spot.
Yeah, I mean, QE, are they professional fishermen or something? Fisher Tiger fished out of the lobby so early. I mean, like fish out of the water. This definitely isn't Moat House, so I don't know what the fishes were doing here. Probably related to more of a tiger than fishes in this particular lobby. But proven very wrong.
They're now confused on whether they're fishes or tigers. So
identity crisis.
Identity crisis.
I should have known.
Let's see though.
1NT.
1NT in a battle against Celtic Gaming. Now we had that coda. Cone know exactly where the opponents are, and with that Dreki, they know exactly that they're healing up, but no movement coming from 1NT. They don't want to risk that move, that push just yet. They want everyone to get in position, and Brian right now dealing with Hugo, a good chance that if you take down Hugo, then you can rush for the rest of the squad, but stealth might be used, and up close and personal, there goes a takedown, and Celtic GG might be winning this fight, hopefully before 90 Piketty jumps in.
Damn, man, there's a damn good follow-up from Hugo. Had the mini Uzi, got the double snipe, and then the follow-up as the player tried to recover from that situation. It's Celtic up against 90 Piketty as well as 1NT tries to scramble away. Fury sprayed down. Can he find Swan? Beautiful play thus far from 90 Piketty, punishing Celtic Gaming, who are trying to tell us that we just don't have the right weapons yet, Mustachio.
Excuses.
And Hugo scrambling out of there with the Morse. Stealth Bites keeping him safe and hidden away from 90 Piketty. Count foul. Oh my. 1NT stepping in for Celtic and taking the beating.
Oh, let's see now. I mean, one takedown has been done against 90 Piketty. Domi has been picked up there quite easily, and Andre will be eliminated. Celtic GG still in play though. A couple of players on them going for a rotate. Fury as well as one more has been spotted by Enya. And you know how it is. Lautas might be taken down first, and then Enya would be the ones trying to follow up. But Lautas moves in the other side. They're baiting them out, and there you have it. Fury is the next one, the final player of the team. This might be it for Celtic GG, but that drop saves Fury, and Hemming has been revived as well. So there's no pressure for the teams just yet. They might be able to bring the rest of the squad in.
Yeah, man, he better survive because Hugo just got taken out of the equation here after one revival. And now Chupi is going to get shut down as well. Celtic Gaming, rough start for them in the second game. And I have to say, that flight path definitely didn't make things easier for the other squads as well. We have now been sent scrambling across the battlefield. But Caesar is doing fine. 1 NT being hunted. Brian, a sliver of health, gets sprayed down from the zip line. Extra point for Caesar.
Yeah, extra point indeed. 6 elimination already, and they are the current elimination leader for 1 NT. We're still looking at the rest of the squad. I guess Andre, Fabian, and Cone, after that engagement against Celtic GG and Nine Spaghetti, they managed to revive themselves. We're still looking forward to where they managed to drop. They're not far from that area, but as the zone would be closing in a bit, they will need to move. Battle of 1 NT against Celtic continues, and Cone might be able to go for that ride, but no, they jumped out. Cone, what are you doing? You should have just stayed in the car.
So he did get knocked down, but backup was there. Muslims in the house, 1 NT. Brilliant play overall. 8 eliminations strong. If Fabian, you better run. These guys are not messing around.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what else 1 NT will be pulling off right here. And Andre, again, it's a different squad. Zeus Esports, but on the other side, they're getting knocked down by who knows who. But QE right now, good chance that they're the ones who are shooting at Zeus King in a good place to be shot at with that plasma gun. And Almir tries to take shot of him. Good thing that King managed to move away with that glue wall, but I don't think this will last long. They need a little bit of backup, and here comes the rest of Zeus Esports.
Yeah, you need to have a special kind of gift to follow the chaotic pacing of Free Fire, man. We've jumped so many fights now already. Ripped out of the beautiful stuff. And now QE on the hunt up against Zeus. This is not going to be easy. King with a shot. Woodpecker finds Almir. Picked right back up. Curlin Shake. CQC time to in there. And Gaviota was right beside him. Both of them missed the shot. But down below, TMJ does.
Let's see now. Pulgita and Crazy, the only 2 players. But King goes in for the move. Unfortunately, Pulgita does have a Bison, doesn't have M590 that we expect that he will be using. And there goes the rush. Well, you know, Gaviota, if you get hit with M590, you will be taken down. So only 1 remaining for the squad of QE, and this might not be what they expected to happen, especially with the momentum that they have from the previous game.
Man, this is looking good for Celtic in terms of recovery. They send the UAV up. Oh, no rematch time. 90 Spaghetti. Same compound. Scans out Celtic as well with the binoculars. 90 Spaghetti might just think that, hey, free food's out there. Shadow against Mia on the other hand. Oh, revenge time, maybe. Mia got annihilated earlier on. This time, Shadow 7. Fair fight, nobody interfering just yet. Lightning zone called out by Mia. They've got the advantage positionally. And Joshua with the max 7 finds Nando. Mingu caught out as well. Biblix up close and personal. Gets the job done, leaving Sanchez all alone. The sniper of the squad. Bunny hopping his way out of there.
Oh, let's see though if he can last long. There goes the jump, and I think Hop has managed to spot him already. Charge Buster in hand. Switch to a Woodpecker. Tries to go for the headshot, but he misses that. Sanchez knows exactly where to position himself, but he sits down as if he is taking a dump. Not quite sure what was the idea there, but he knows that enemy is in front.
Man, he just thought he was well hidden behind the tree. Butt was sticking out. That's the worst way to go, Neptune. This is the worst way to go. I thought I was one with nature. You gotta stay slimmer than the tree sometimes, you know.
Oh yeah. Anyway, that's why we're trying to slim down, because at some point you will need to hide, and that's not a way to hide.
No man, I tried hiding behind a tree once. It did me no favors whatsoever. 9 Spaghetti Esports. 6 eliminations, Lautards. Celtic now. But do they even have the numbers to take this fight?
Oh, let's see. No, there's 1 Celtic. On the other hand, we have a Flash on the other side. Now, it might be them being baited in against Flash, but you go not spotted. And this is a guy, this is a sniper who can hide out. He was just hiding behind the tree, not sitting down though. Hiding, standing up, that's a good way to do so. But 90 Piketty might be able to spot out some of the players of Flash. And here comes Zeus Esports. It was King with Winchester, brings down Hugo. You can hide from one side, but not the other.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking, right? 90 Piketty, Hugo's like, you cannot spot me. And then Zeus just appears from the back. Unfortunate. This guy tried hiding behind a bus stop this time. Yeah, but the bus stop was not enough when someone's right behind you. 7 eliminations strong. 90 Piketty doing decent so far in this lobby. But it's not done just yet. We've still got some big heavy hitters out there. And you look at Zeus, you look at teams like Caesar, who are on a phenomenal run so far. And you think to yourself, this lobby might not be the easiest one. Even Deltas and 1NT are hustling this time around. 1NT, I'm surprised that the Booyah Curse did not find them this time, Neptune.
Yeah, I think they know exactly about Booyah Curse, and they're trying to get away from any engagement so that it doesn't happen. But 10 minutes of the clock already. I think that's far enough for them to survive. And
this was the tree. He was hiding behind a tree like this. Man, you can physically see that tree is not going to protect you. Some trees can, okay? just not that tree, okay?
The tree huggers.
He probably saw someone else in front of him and is like, okay, this is where I perish. He went out of the lobby. It's unfortunate when games are just not on your side. Deltas, speaking of game not being on your side, they had the right blue walls this time round, but Muslim, count 98, one more shot needed, only finds the first stack, and a lightning zone called out. Against who though?
I don't know, but we're seeing the team scrambling into next phase of the circle. We know that in the earlier it was still safe, but now they will need to move. Now ZMF right now with plenty of coins to work with, but the vending machine is just near them. The only question though is, well, will they be dropping that would be safe enough for the remaining 9 teams that we have? There goes a couple of revival. Even MiaCorp managed to bring down Nyx, but is that a full squad for MiaCorp? Because it would be tight in a bit.
Look up, boys. Mealtime is here. MiaCorp is serving it up perfectly. Josh Rare escapes, but Nyx does not. He gets shot out of the air. 90 Piketty says, thank you for the meal. There's the benefit of being on the roof and looking up as well. But Muslim steals it away. That's dirty.
90 Piketty listening out. I guess they were wondering as well where that 1 point go. But 90 Piketty is one of those roofmen, I would say. From the earlier game, Factory Rooftop now in this game. And Yancy! Great backup, though, against Kappa. MiaCorp was just going on a 1v1, but doesn't have that backup that is required. So MiaCorp will be losing out with only 1 player remaining for the squad. And I think this is a little bit too late for a revive to happen. All they have to do is go with survivability.
Yeah, MiaCorp's going to get toasted. Caesar's going to make sure of that. If it's not them, it's 90 Piketty Esports. I don't know how can Mia survive this situation. Zeus fighting QE, Pulgita taken out. That means the front line of QE is just practically non-existent right now.
Let's see, Deltas right now close to non-existence because a couple of players has been eliminated already. I think it's now left to 1 player, Alex. Will Alex be able to survive, move into one of the compounds in the area, or get eliminated on his path? As 1NT moves in just next door to 90 Piketty, they have a good spot. They're just in the edge if they can stick themselves in this area and just wait for the moment. But Zeus Esports spotted. I believe this is QE managed to pull off that binocular, and this might spell trouble if they manage to go for the push.
Absolutely. 1NT flanking around. They've got a good spot to catch out the Delta players, and also a great defensive spot. But Flash, I think it could have been the binoculars out of either Flash or QE in that situation up against Zeus, but Flash with a phenomenal rotation there off of the jump pad, and they get into a decent spot. The Malaysian on Mia obviously not too sweet to identify early on. Curl and shake. The AWM shot from afar as well. QE now pressuring the players of Zeus, who might just run into Flash.
Let's see though. Zeus Esports, 3-man strong. We know how strong they can be in pressure. And there goes a shot against Flash. Unknown has been taken down, but quickly being recovered. And will they be able to push against Flash? I'm talking about not only Zeus, but also QE, who's just right behind. One compound to work with, and if they do it in best timing, they might capitalize on that.
Oh, look at the superhero Jans driving back into the circle after he pulled off a full squad revival. And because of him, ZMF is in a great spot to surprise everybody else. But the question is, can they get to a decent loot before they get taken out of this lobby? Look, ZMF is not part of all of this chaos that's breaking down right now. QE out, Flash out, 90 Spaghetti eating one by one, man. They are feasting, they are farming, and through all of that chaos, ZMF picking up loot right behind them as they rotate.
Oh, what a high coming from ZMF, and what a move from 90 Spaghetti, just picking all of those eliminations in. Now, ZMF have a compound to work with, and this is a clutch move. Again, Yancy is the one who managed to bring them back, and they have a compound for themselves. Rare occurrence that this happens in this stage of the circle, but fifth going to 6 right now would put pressure for those outside, and one of those is Zeus Esports. A couple of players from Zeus Esports, as well as 1NT, and 1NT taking shots from Gaviota's AC-80.
Yeah, self-sacrificial attempt there from Gaviota. I mean, he was just one shot away from being taken off of the roof. But now focusing on the pickup on TMJ. Circle's gonna pressure them. They need to hustle. Outside! And why did he have to rotate around the left-hand side? Just did not give him any bit of advantage at all. Back down on the ground. King's taken out of the equation already. Boom. It's all up to Gaviota and Curlian as 1NT gets annihilated by ZMF, who are perfectly done looting up and ready for the next circle play.
Oh, this might be a clutch coming from ZMF. Now, if they are the only one with a full squad, and this managed to be pulled off by ZMF, a lot of teams might be doing this in the final circle. Just make sure that they have plenty of loot hide out from opponents, and 90 Spaghetti would be the next target, and no takedown just yet. 10 elimination for ZMF, but a good chance for them to be pushing a bit, because Zeus Esports are the ones in the edge of that shift of the circle, and both 90 Spaghetti and ZMF needs to run fast.
Amy King almost became a sitting duck in a truck. Unfortunately, he managed to hop on out of there in the nick of time, still surviving. Haven't fully recovered yet from that disaster, though. ZMF losing one player to the circle. The pressure from the side of Zeus, just phenomenal. ZMF can't keep their players up on their feet. But with the players on the side of Zeus looking for the reposition, they do manage to sneak on in. But Gaviota fighting Yancy, taking him out of the equation. Emmy King interfering as well. Curlin shakes out of the equation. ZMF getting a little bit of assist from 90 Spaghetti.
Nice. Now, Zeus Esports King, I believe, is the only one remaining at this point, and he was just revived, receiving a little bit of damage. 90 Spaghetti, 3-man strong. It's a 3v3 situation, but they still have a vending machine within the area that CMS might be taken. Even Zeus Esports occupying this compound against them, and King just has nowhere to run. All have to do is hide. Does have a few glue walls, but what would happen a bit? Because the blue would be shifting and then closing in, and King might not have enough to go for the fight.
Circle advantage for 90 Spaghetti Esports here. ZMF rotating just beside them, using the walls for perfect cover. A little bit better in terms of final circle here for these squads. A lot of the natural compound, so they don't have to waste their glue walls just yet, which is going to set up a phenomenal final ending here. Kenny, a little bit of a overshot on the Tatsuya's Rebel Rush, but that serves him up perfectly, and it's now a 3v3. 90 Spaghetti in for a full-on battle. Emmy King tagged up already. M590 not finding its mark, but all of those boosted up glue walls keeping them safe. Uziel with the shots from up top. Vendas finds one. Kenny trades Yancy for the M59. He's shut down, and ZMF, a comeback from nowhere to pick up Booyah in game 2.
A clutch move with that final revive from Yancy to a full squad, and they managed to get that Booyah. What a story, what a run from ZMF Esports.
I mean, dude, that was timed so well, but you gotta need a lot of luck in that equation as well, because such a late revival, usually you will have your squad shot out of the air. But the circle was moving, the squads were moving at the same time, everybody was scrambling to look for a defensive spot, and those who have already gotten into the circle were trying to move into their compounds, into these houses, so that they don't get shot out or be affected by that lightning zone. And ZMF's moment of revival by Yancy, man, that was timed so perfectly. They came back through. 90 Piketty was on a run of slaying everyone. ZMF just rotated right behind them and said, thank you for this loot. Thank you very much for this loot. And were battle prepared again. And what a comeback from that revival to a booyah at the end as well.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's just like the rare occurrence wherein we have a full revive happen towards the end, final circle, and then they still manage to survive, and they manage to get that booyah. But let's take a peek on the replay. I'm pretty sure this would refresh everyone on what exactly happened. But ZMF, you were just mentioning them, though it's not so much because they're very close to the 12. But right now, I think they are just catching up with a lot of teams. They're just making sure that whatever work that they're done is calculated enough that they can secure either close to the booyah or a booyah, just like what we've seen.
Like I said, right, I mean, ZMF is a really strong squad, and if you are looking to get into the grand finals, ZMF is one of the teams that are going to be somewhere down the bottom in terms of how much of pressure they're going to be bringing to you based on how they've been running the group stage so far. But if this is the version of ZMF that we get, then man, I think the grand finals is going to be very exciting. Only problem is luck is not always on your side. ZMF played that one way too risky, but in this particular game, I guess Lady Luck was just smiling at them a little bit more. QE just didn't have a fantastic run because they bumped into Flash, they got into a big fight, and then 90 Piketty as well as Zeus were taking shots at them from afar, right? And obviously that was not really good in terms of survivability, but such was the situation when you've got so many squads towards that final circle, nephew.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a common thing that we're seeing overall, but like Zeus Esports, they try to do the same thing. It's just unfortunate that King has been revived. The rest squad falters because of ZMF as well as some players of 90 Piketty, and King was just left behind to go for the push. And this is that moment wherein the final player from Zeus Esports has been eliminated. This is that part wherein I was worried about not ZMF but 90 Piketty. They were outside the zone, and I'm just looking at that map if it's in the center. But I guess CMF was not waiting anymore for that close to happen. They just want to deal with 90 Piketty, and they managed to do so.
Absolutely. And the comeback from nowhere to a booyah was a phenomenal run. And your MVP is sure as hell Yancy 70 next. This guy is the reason why the squad survived in the first place, and he's also one of the top fraggers of the team this time around in this game. 6 eliminations, 4 headshots, 8 assists, 2,150 on the damage, rocking the Bison with the Draki. Oscar as the rusher has the Olivia to bring his team members back up to speed with the healing gun. J-Beams as well as Nikita just to make people suffer more as a walking, running tank that nerfs your recovery. And in the head-to-head up against King, man, King has got nothing on Yancy's run this time.
Yeah, I mean, elimination-wise, Yancy has, based on number, nothing. But in performance and that clutch gameplay, definitely Yancy is one of those. King could have followed it up, but there's, so little space to work with, not enough coins for them to do so. And even if they go for a revive, they will just be free food out of 90 Piketty as well as CMF. But right now, overall stats not too high because of a lot of teams have been eliminated early in this fight, and even the elimination coming from ZMF is not that high as well. So we're seeing that the numbers being equalized and slowly tapering off, pulling away from what USA has been adding into the mix as their signature.
Yeah, no doubt at all, man. I think those numbers were distributed fairly equally for some of these top teams in terms of the eliminations, right? I think you saw ZMF walking away with a truckload of eliminations. Caesar had 11 eliminations with a wild early exit from the lobby. Zeus was on 14. 90 Piketty was on 13. So many teams on the double digit for eliminations out of this lobby. So yeah, ZMF didn't get the truckload of it, but that was a damn good game. We will remember them for a long time, because of exactly what they pulled off here. But again, Neptune, games like these, luck shining brightly like that is not every day, it's not every time. ZMF needs to look for that consistency if they want to walk away as champions of the competition.
Definitely agree. I mean, there's something that they need to, that gameplay, like, I don't think they have another chance of doing that. That's one in a lifetime that they will be having. They will be getting that. But whatever they did in terms of rotation, survivability, they need to work on it even further, even more. So they need to practice on how to pull off or not being taken down early and then keep themselves safe. But looking at the leaderboard right now, as we try to spot out Delta's Esports, they're still on 19th spot, but the gap is slowly closing in. But with only one game for today, will they be able to equalize against Stellar Esports, or will they just still need to work with it by tomorrow?
Yeah, and 27 points away from Stellar Esports. That's a decent, but Stellar hasn't played just yet. And, them trying to catch up with Flash has proven to be a very difficult task because Flash is good at running away, man. I mean, Flash has been doing fine so far. I mean, Flash has had one main priority: avoid the 18th spot through all means and just climb. No matter where we end up by the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But we got to secure this. We got to guarantee this for ourselves. We've got 2 more days to go, and clearly Flash knows that to be a tough one if they are not going to hustle early on. If you're going to leave it to the very final day, your final 3 opportunities, I mean, it'll be exciting for us casters, but it'll be nerve-wracking for the players. So I hope nobody gets themselves into that pickle.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's just that we're not seeing the players themselves, but we know for a fact that how close it is. If you didn't make it, if it's only 1 point and 2 point, it is really heartbreaking and disappointing. So I'm hoping that they make it this time, do the work this time and early, and again for the next season, just make sure that you bring it in, not wait for the final moment to bring all those points in.
Absolutely, man. Let's check out the team lineup once again. You've got 1NT90 Spaghetti Esports, Caesar, Deltas, Fisher Tiger, Flash Gaming, and if I want to pick out someone to highlight from this list, I'll have a tough time, man. We've got Miacorp, QE, Celtic, ZMF, Zeus Esports, as well as Shadow 7 completing the squads that will be competing in the final match of their grouping. This is going to be game number 3 in a little bit, and it is going to be the final one for today between groups A and C. We'll take a short break after this match, and we will come back through with groups B and D to complete their 3-game run. So if you're part of Group A, if you're part of Group C, teams like Deltas, teams like Fish and Tiger, this is the point where you scramble, you hustle, you do whatever it takes to get into the final circle and pull away points, because it's your final opportunity of the day.
Yeah, I do agree. For Fisher Tiger, there's like the last time or first time that they were here, they only added 4 points, and that's just in placement, no elimination. For Deltas, though, they did get 10 points, but looking at who's at the top, it's 9 Spaghetti who managed to take the top of this because they played a couple of times, as well as they got plenty of elimination out of those games. So let's see if this where 9 Spaghetti can show up once again, but a team that needs to show up, especially in this early round, is the MF. The Booyah Curse needs to be broken, and they're going against Shadow 7.
Out of 24 squads, we have 17 teams who have at least had 1 Booyah so far. How cool is that?
We're counting, and we're expecting hopefully 24 manage to get at least 1 Booyah, but some of the teams just are very shy in getting final circle, but not shy enough to go for the battle against 9 Spaghetti on Refinery, trying to deal with Celtic. GG, and definitely it would be GG for them, but the Booyah Curse continues. EMF has been eating away, and Shadow 7 steps into the light.
Yeah, 1NT dodged that like a I don't even know what, man. But ZMF, they got eaten up by the Booyah curse early here. Yeah, the curse is alive. The curse just wants to remind us, you gotta be afraid. You gotta be very afraid.
Exactly. Well, teams right now, Fisher Tiger might be another one that needs to be afraid. Being chased by Caesar, solo player on the hit list. Cas B might not be lasting that long. But FC tried to dance around, but couldn't do it against the AUG of Darius. And Caesar ends him. Another emote from the finisher of the squad.
Yeah, I mean, the man's just having a field day out there. He's on the penta elimination so far. 4 eliminations in a row for Darius. And Hugo looking for a little bit of revenge mission here. But Sanchez trying to sort him out. VSK spots the foot. Oh, Hugo backs away in the nick of time. And single-handedly dismantling 2 players. Hugo might be able to punish Sanchez here as well. Where is your sniper, Hugo?
Well, that's the thing. Doesn't have that. Probably he just jumped in on the revive, but Sanchez spotted him. Butterfly in hand because of VSK. Sure enough, Sanchez will be able to make that land that shot, but he needs to be careful because once Hugo steps a little bit closer, VSK might not have that reach.
How does Hugo not have a sniper just yet, man? Mirkov next. Down. Oh, Kappa, Mag 7, a sliver of health left on his opponent, but the Time Turner just saving him. Okay, that's a little bit messy, but it's exactly what happens up close and personal. M1917 just unable to get the job done. The Mag 7 on the other hand, and of course a little bit of backup from his team member, sorts that situation out. But Celtic on that revival, Sanchez about to be punished. What a chaotic start here to this Kalahari map.
But that's 3 elimination by Hugo against Shadow 7. This guy is phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to how well Hugo can fight it off and bring the team to that championship. But for Nine of Getty, again, leader of Kalahari right now, Delta's dealing with them and finisher onto one of the players, but Pokozine right now, guess going solo is a little bit too much for him. That they need to move fast, otherwise a pickup will be done and they might be in trouble.
What are you doing, sir? You gotta get that revival. Alex so close to the vending machine, not getting there just yet. Stopping to turn around, but Flash up against QE. 2 players sprayed down. Mateos looking to see if or not he can flank around. Does he find the Punisher or does he try to get away? Mateos, beautiful shot. M590 will find Almir. But how is Almir running? Okay, it's Almir 24 and Almir. Man, these guys have to stop doing this to me. I was so confused for a second. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, 2 Almirs makes a QE. I don't know what the saying with that.
2
but crazy
makes me pissed off.
Zeus Esports now pissing off Caesar, and they're being cut down into pieces. Gaviota right now. I mean, surprisingly, seeing Gaviota on a marksman, that's something we don't often see, but you have to deal with weapons that you will need in Kalahari. But Celtic Gaming, great move, great start for them to recover after that beating that they have felt earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Celtic just showing QE, your nade game just not strong, brother. This is how you do it. Taking them out of the equation there. Huitoto hopping away. King looking for the elimination with the hook gun. Quick reposition. And still no sight of the player with the VSK in hand, though. King is still going to be a big threat. Oh, one more shot with the glue wall's perfect. And he gets the revival. The job is done. You can take me now, King, says Huitoto.
Oh, and Zeno, I mean, he does have M590. If he gets the timing, he gets that shot, and Huitoto for a takedown. But here comes a surprise coming from Gaviota. Good thing for Zeus, backup is here.
Man, Huitoto would have been on a legendary run there. King didn't have backup. That was a good play. Now Muslim brings in another player as well. Caesar on that recovery play. Zeus looking as aggressive as ever. They get a hit list onto Fake 8. So it looks like Caesar might still be under the radar of Zeus for quite a little bit.
Oh, let's see. I mean, Caesar is, well, they're still 3 men strong. After that revive, they will have full squad, but they need to be cautious in a bit. There's a lot of teams that's still hovering around 6 minutes in the game, and we still have 10 teams in here. Hugo, and that move is one that really brings him to that strong point in the sniper, because if he can jump and shoot, then you can have a cover and not manage to be taken out. So this is the strength of Celtic Gaming. Lautas up close and personal, almost taken down. Flash unknown will not be named just yet.
Yeah, I mean, these guys is pulling 4v1. So, they had a great break advantage there. Easy point off of that engagement. And they can camp around at the spot for a bit at Mammoth. They've got the vending machine to chill with. Deltas, on the other hand, straight to the arsenal. Get a little 1 horsepower right outside as well. For them to zoom around on the battlefield. Nobody seems to be disturbing Deltas, and that is good for them because this is the recovery play for the Delta squad. And it's their last game of the day. Neptune, again, they are 27 points behind that 18th spot, and Stella hasn't even started playing yet.
That's one thing. I mean, Stellar might be able to pull away unless they met early exit similar to what we've seen from yesterday. In most cases, I think they only got a few points from yesterday's game, and it's not really a Stellar. It's like a black hole coming from or going into yesterday's match. But Zeus Esports, the chase is still on against Caesar, and they are now in shrines. That hitless is annoying. It will end in 2 minutes, though, so it's 2 minutes that they might be chased by Zeus Esports.
They weren't Stellar, they were Staler.
Staler than stale bread.
Today, if they're stale and not Stellar, gonna have a problem. But I think they should be fine. I really like Stellar Esports. Very exciting to watch out there. No booyahs to their name just yet, so main reason why I'm hyping them up right now. They better give me a booyah later. Lightning Zone called upon the squad of Caesar. Zeus on the hunt, but it's not their Lightning Zone. It could be QE who are pressuring the players on the side of Zeus. Hurling Shake about to get caught out here. Pulguita, a sliver of health, managing to recover in the nick of time. What? The rest of Zeus drops by Almir, dismantled just like that. M590, Almir 24 inside the time turner, manages to turn the fate around for himself for a little bit there. But Crazy's the only player still up on his feet, far away from all of this chaos. And Caesar drops by to say, hello, Zeus. This time we want to take advantage of this chaos.
And there you have it, Zeus in full recovery. But QE will learn that you don't bring a Lightning Zone against Zeus Esports because you will be taken down. Caesar capitalized most of that. They did manage to get a few of those elimination out of knocks that has been done. But unfortunately, Shadow 7 would be stepping back into Shadows right now. We're left with 9 teams on a 9.5 minute mark in this game. And it would still be chaotic because our next point would be either refinery or confinement. Or command post, rather.
Caesar unknowingly helped Zeus Esports reposition on the battlefield very quickly, very easily. Instead of finding that mad rotation around, they basically just dropped their loot, got a big revive, and now they're inside the next safe zone. Unfortunately, Caesar's not. So they're going to be one of the final few to make it in. And they better make a big rotation round, man, because I'm pretty sure Zeus will come across them on Caesar's way in. Miacorp, on the other hand, Triplix will find 1 more point for the squad. Deltas, the pressure is on. Miacorp saying hello. Chris takes Kappa out, but the fight is not over just yet. And a Valiant Dash breaks down his defense, but Nyx just couldn't get the job done. Now under pressure, Tali fights Nyx. Nyx just ran in there to give Deltas another point.
I thought Chris was the one who managed to go for a takedown. That's 1 for 2 already. But backup is here for Deltas Esports, and they are really catching up. For Caesar, they are live, slowly moving into next phase of the circle. But a hit list is still on Caesar, or that might had expired or about to expire in a bit. QE is landing just next to them. Almir 24 together with, I guess that's Almir as well. So 2 Almirs make it into ATV.
Oh, Zeus looking for QE this time around at the vending machine. QE just wants to bring their buddies back, brother. Pulguita shut down. Everybody annihilated. Caesar sorting out the rest of QE on the other side as well. This time Zeus and QE will personally take the shot at each other, but unfortunately it is Zeus's involvement that just puts the advantage to the side of Caesar. That rematch doesn't go the way of QE at all. TMJ finding Chris, and Deltas will be able to hit back here, Neptune, but I think this could just be the end of Deltas if they do not back away from this fight.
Oh, let's see though. I mean, they're still taking advantage of the position that they have, long-range engagement they have against Zeus Esports, and this is a good chance for them to catch up on points. But later on, they might be meeting up a lot of teams when they move in next phase of the circle. With one player missing, it would be tough for them to go into that play. 1NT though, similar gameplay to what we've seen earlier when they got that Puya. They are just waiting for that opportunity, but Fury, definitely furious of Celtic GG losing out a lot of fight, and they're bringing it against Flash to take them down.
Yeah, brilliant play with the hook gun, just finding the quick reposition and instantaneously responding to the players who were right there. Flash scrambling to get away, and the advantage in terms of position was on the side of Celtic. Now they're going to use the launch pad to get themselves into a better spot here. Still in shooting distance up against Team Flash. So Flash is going to have that pressure play up against them as they try to look for this next circle.
Oh, it's just unfortunate for Deltas, and you were right. That outside the circle, this phase of the zone, they will be taken out by that play zone. And Deltas, unfortunately, I don't think they made that much in that fight. They did dealt with Zeus Esports, but didn't completely annihilated this squad. Now, we have 7 teams remaining. We still have 1NT, but Biblix fires back with a car 98.
Yeah, man, you can't just sit down in the corner and take shots like that. You're gonna get annihilated in this lobby. Caesar now on for the fight. They're looking for the hunt. 90 Piketty Esports dropping by. This could just be the saving grace for Zeus. Mia, on the other hand, getting those knocks onto the Flash players, but the pressure from the zone is going to make sure they do not get away from this easy. 1NT dropping in, taking advantage of that situation. On the hunt, finding one player as well. Nix on his feet. Andre, a silver belt and the lightning zone. Biblix finds Andre. Mia now attacking 1NT from the back.
1NT, the moment they step out into play, that's where they got annihilated. And Mia goes in for a couple of revive in command post. Will they be able to survive that push though? Because there's a lot of teams like Celtic GG's waiting for them. Muslim, good chance to hit or take down Curling Shake, but he needs to wait for that recovery. That's a blue. Oh, the glue wall saves him, and great movement. But Kappa though is a different story.
Kappa, Mr. Bean on the ground, falls out of the skies. Just no highlight on him, no spotlights at all. Biblix, 1004 in his pocket. Says thank you very much. Brings the full squad back in here, but he's probably going to sacrifice himself in this situation. He tries to squeeze himself back into it this next circle. Somehow still surviving miraculously. Nachupi, Celtic Gaming, taking shots up against Mia. Zeus Esports out of the equation as well. Combination of Celtic and Caesar shots.
Yeah, winner there would be Caesar, because they have 18 elimination already. Well, both Celtic as well Caesar is just annihilating final players from every front. Now we have 4 teams remaining, 15-minute mark already, and one thing that doesn't surprise me anymore is 90 Piketty in this final circle. They know how to position themselves, they know how to save their team if in case they were in trouble, and then they know how to lay low. But let's see how well they can survive this time. But for Flash, solo mission for Unknown, he will need to hide quick. He needs to hide fast, but hopefully it's not in the tree where you can be shot at.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And at the end of the day, it's a open final circle here. So Flash is going to be in a little bit of a pickle if he can't find himself a defensive spot. Here comes Darius now on the side of Caesar. Had to pull out the time turner just to recover. But 90 Piketty Esports knocking down the door from the back. And they will take out a wild Flash instead before they bump into Caesar.
Fury 7, great on AC-80. It's not just Hugo now that's taking those shots on the long range. Now, Celtic GG, a good chance to go for rotate on the next shift of the circle, but Caesar is trying to gatekeep them on the other side. Muslim right now with AWM, just waiting for a great angle, but the glue wall's not working for him for the moment, so they need to move fast. But with all shots against them, we'll see if they can survive the onslaught that might be brought in by both Celtic as well as 90 Bikini.
Caesar with the glue wall melter pressure, trying to take down the defenses of Celtic before going in for the rush. But they have to be very careful here because 90 Bikini Esports can take advantage, and they're sitting pretty on the opposite end. They're not doing anything yet, but the circle is going to be pressuring 90 Bikini because it's moving towards Caesar. They do have a positional advantage, and they're trying their darnest to take Celtic out of the equation. But slowly, look at 90 Bikini. They're coming in for the attack. They're forced by the circle. They have to move, and the advantage will go to Caesar.
Josito Caesar right now, and Celtic managed to go in for that push, and they're being chased by 90 Bikini. So this leaves Caesar just waiting for the opportunity to gun them down, but it's only glue walls between them and 90 Bikini, and even Kenny will need to move fast. They lost one of the players, but Celtic GG, smart move to take a compound for themselves, and they can take this angle to take down even Caesar.
Man, what is Caesar doing? This better work out. They had the advantage with the circle moving towards them, but they stepped away from all of the chaos, allowing 90 Bikini Esports to take on Celtic. And now they come in! Caesar! They know this is the opportunity. Muslim with the VSK. Knocks down Domi. Takes the elimination away from the side of Celtic. Nachupi recovering very quickly. It's a 4v4 fair fight, but Celtic Gaming just came out of these eliminations. They haven't fully recovered just yet. Caesar taking some tags onto them, but look at the massive barricade of glue walls, keeping Celtic safe for now, but the second floor attempt comes through from Caesar.
Oh, let's see though. I mean, what I'm looking forward to is those landmines being laid down by Caesar. So just in case needed, Celtic Gaming will be stepping out and stepping on those landmines without even a surprise. Caesar might get this booyah ice grenade just to slow down some players of Celtic GG, but they're not phased at all. 20 elimination and 4 to go if in case they grab that booyah.
Dude, one squad has 20, the other one has 21. Somebody about to end up with 24 or 25 eliminations and a booyah by the end of this game. Muslim, great position held here, all thanks to the Moth. Time Turner pulled up prematurely. This could backfire up against the squad here. Caesar just needs to keep a little bit of a distance. Boost not working out for the squad. Those jumps are not coming on through. You go with a wild snipe from afar. Taken out of the equation. Huitoso gets the drop onto the sniper of Celtic with the M590. Huitoso traded out here. Lautan shows that he can fly around as well. Darius and Fake A try to get the job done, but Lautan's nowhere to be spotted, all alone as Nachupi's been sprayed down to the ground.
This is it. Celtic GG feeling the wrath. Here comes the jump and the backstab by Darius. Great 180 and Caesar for that booyah.
25 eliminations strong. Mad game. Celtic did fairly well for themselves as well. Fairly well is an understatement. Very, very well for themselves. What a match. Such a exciting end for groups A and C through these squads. This Kalahari match was chaotic, Neptune.
Exactly. I mean, we don't know what to expect in some of the cases, but I'm loving that even in long range on a CQC, we're seeing great movement coming from the team. When we thought that they can be taken down, they just recovered quickly. But Caesar, great position that they took. They didn't take the compound compared to what we've seen in Celtic GG because they know that there's still 3 teams that is going against each other. So if they are stuck within that compound, the same thing. It might be a different story right now. They might be the ones being put in the corner by Celtic GG. So they just hang back, similar to what we've seen booyah takers like Shadow 7 and other teams has been doing. Wait for the perfect opportunity, and that was insane coming from Caesar.
Yeah, positional play, brilliance from Caesar. Muslim very quickly repositioned using the stealth bites, and he took a little bit of a longer range so that he has those angles to play with in case Celtic GG jumps out of that house trying to take the fight up against the rest of his team members. And the rest of Caesar very smartly just stacking themselves on that roof, right? I was very nervous about that early time turner played by Caesar, but it worked out perfectly in terms of timing because the cover that Muslim was providing from from afar. And as Celtic made their way out, they just couldn't keep up with the pressure and the positional advantage that Caesar had already garnered in that final encounter. It was a brilliant showdown. And even Zeus did not manage to survive a lot of these encounters with these guys, right? I think Celtic and Caesar today, they're just playing this on a different level at Kalahari.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Zeus was just in trouble in most cases. I think MiaCorp is one of those as well, but it's a good thing that MiaCorp managed to squeeze in a few more elimination compared to Zeus. And this is that moment wherein Zeus Esports was almost eliminated and jumped into a big front, but still have that that vending machine to work with, and then they managed to recover and responded or put a revenge against QE, who they fought in earlier in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And Flash, of course, with this rotation, they were just trying their darnest to avoid the encounter, but they could not avoid it for a very long time. They did get hunted down. The rotation later on did provide to be useful for them. They got into a decent spot, but just couldn't make it too far up until they got into the top 3. But far enough, I would say, for a survival play. And towards the very end, 90 Piketty just got ganged on by both Celtic and Caesar. That turned out really well for them.
Well, definitely. I mean, it was just phenomenal from both teams. Celtic GG as well as Caesar. It's just the timing that was off for Celtic GG. Caesar was just waiting for that opportunity for them to recover. And in that final moment, like, they just prioritize on what really matters. The numbers, their teammates being brought back up. And now they grab that booyah. And Caesar, I believe this is the third booyah for the team.
Absolutely. It is the third booyah for the squad here at the group stage. Oh man, what a record from Darius. 11 eliminations, 2 headshots, 3 assists, 4,177 on the damage, rocking the chrono of the time turner, had the Joseph, Thiva, Nikita. I mean, to think this guy is responsible for picking up the rest of his team members through his passive skills, but at the same time, the Annihilator, he is the guy that's responsible for survival as well as the annihilation.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in comparison to Hugo, well, it's really great. We have one as a support, we have one in the snipers, but I'm really still loving Darius. No, like no question there. But Hugo, how well he defended himself, that 1v3 clutch, how he isolates each player. Hugo is still one of the best snipers that we have in the USA right now. But overall stats a little higher because of all of his engagement, close to 100 in that total elimination, and 25, a quarter of which has been grabbed by Caesar. Well, close to a quarter was taken by SKG or Celtic GG, and half of all the elimination is just spread across the rest of the squad.
Absolutely, man. I can, safely say about 60-70% of the eliminations were taken by 3 squads in totality from this lobby. Brilliant stuff out of the teams. This is how you want to end your games. This is how you show that you were warming up initially and now you are just hitting full throttle as we make our way to the knockout stage. The teams who are in the top 12, again, they're just trying to prove their dominance out there and also get the extra practice in before we head on into the knockout stage, before they head on into the grand finals. Because clearly, these are some grand finals potential that we are seeing in here within the group stage itself from some of these very consistent teams. Glad to see both Celtic as well as Caesar on that recovery play today, just like we highlighted earlier on Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really loving how well that Caesar is now recovering, because from the first time we saw them, we didn't see the Spire. Now, they are bringing it up, and by today, with the 45 elimination they have, they might be one of those who will be getting that that bounty that we have set for the day. Some other squad might be able to do it, because we have still a few teams from another group that will be joining us in a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to beat 45 eliminations? Be my guest. I think Caesar's walking away with that bounty. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the groups B and D do in a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is AJ. I'm the Mustache down here with Neptune. We're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, it's the next 2 groups in action. Welcome back, survivors. My name is AJ. I'm the Mustache. Down here with the one and only Neptune, the gentleman Garcia. This is the Free Fire World Series USA 2026 Summer Edition. And you know, we've already seen the best from A and C. We've seen Cartel Serve, we've seen Celtic. Now it's time for us to bring the attention back to some of the ruthless teams in B and D. Teams like Ruthless themselves, teams like GCT, Arrow, Nova. We are going to have some exciting games just like what we had in the previous lobbies. I am fairly sure. One thing that I have not been a big fan of, though, Neptune, is some of the teams within B and D. They go for a very covert operation kind of, I want to stay silent all the way to the final circle. Yes, I am a fan of that in the usual times when I'm looking for more teams to guarantee points for themselves. But today, I'm just in the mood for entertainment, man. I want to see all-out action like what we just saw.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that from DZ Esports, but in most cases, we don't see it a lot from the rest of the squad. Or DZ as well as Ruthless, I would say. But,
That's true,
I mean, this might be a chance really for some of the teams to really catch up. We have a ZAM team who we were expecting to bring in a lot of points, but it's just unfortunate that they're not bringing in that numbers. Nova Esports, though, they have the experience, but in the recent times, they're not, like, putting themselves up on the board. There was a time where Nova Esports was second to DZ Esports on the leaderboard, but now their tactics is just dwindling all throughout.
And of course, our eyes are also going to be on Stella as well as O1 Esport. Both of these squads are from B and D, and they're very close to the bottom. Deltas, we've already seen their attempt to survive, attempt to cut down the distance between themselves and the 18th spot. And it's going to be in the hands of O1 and Stella to see how much of the efforts the Deltas put in here on whether or not it's going to be enough or just absolutely not sufficient to get them into the top 18. We also, of course, will have our eyes on Royal Tiger, Crazy Minds, Round 1. These three teams are from B&D, and man, they have been doing quite B80.
Well, it's definitely a good way to put it for those teams. Looking at where they're placed in the overall standings, there's a lot of catching up that needs to be done. Based on the average that they have, I don't think they'll be able to do it. They might be stuck in there, and it is not looking good. I mean, earlier we were looking at close to 50 points that's needed by a couple of teams from the Group A and C. But now, if you look at the Royal Tigers, that's 60 points that they need to bring in, and that's what, close to the total numbers that they have all throughout the group stage.
Yeah, I mean, man, when you put it that way, it's a little tough, right? But one thing that I think you and I have both discovered from our years in Free Fire shoutcasting is that you can never count any teams out because they just explode one day. But usually those 1 days will have 6 games. So 2 days of great runs here in FFWS USA group stage could just make your luck absolutely turn around. Royal Tiger, Crazy Minds, Round 1 definitely stand a chance of doing that, but they need to do that, right? Nobody else can help them out with this. If anything, everybody else will be trying to help them do the opposite, which is try to take them out of the equation so that they can get the points. It's not going to be an easy run for these three squads who are in the bottom 6 at all. If Deltas had a rough point because they were so far away, it's a little worse for Fisher Tiger, Royal Tiger, for Royal Tiger, Crazy Mind, as well as Round 1, Neptune.
Now, what's tough about, especially for Royal Tigers, what's required of them is around, 25 per match for them to be able to catch up. So that brings them 75 points, but that's something that we don't see often from Royal Tigers. They are quite famous, but infamy is something that you need to get away. Just need to bring in the numbers. So let's see if this is a time that we see that out of Royal Tigers. Otherwise, some of the teams might be bringing more of that. One thing though is for sure we still have a few teams that might be able to maintain their spot right now. So we're really looking forward to that, and this is a first game for this group for them to step it up. There's still plenty of leeway, but Bermuda gives that opportunity for most of the teams.
Absolutely, man. An unfortunate update. Zam team is going to be missing this upcoming match. And like we updated you guys yesterday, True Reapers will not be able to continue the competition along with us, at least for the time being. That means 2 teams will be missing this next game. Hopefully, Zam team will be able to join us once again before we wrap the day up. You need to be taking each and every single one of your opportunities. Granted, Zam team is fairly comfortable in the top 18 right now. But yeah, you would not want to take any chances whatsoever, man, as we approach the end of our group stage. 6 games to go to earn these points. And if O1 Esports, Stellar Esports can overtake Zam team, that's where it really starts getting dangerous for ZT.
Yeah, with 2 teams missing out on this first game, it's unlikely that any team will be able to catch up with the elimination that has been brought in by Caesar. So it reduces the chance of those elimination, but hopefully recovery or revival would be happening because of if they're familiar or everyone's familiar of this map, they might be able to find a spot to go for that revive. But here comes Bermuda. Back to our green aggressive Free Fire. Let's see where the flight pass will bring us in, and will they be experiencing a few of those early engagement hot drops overall? Because hopefully not. We've seen most of this group try to survive even further, but as you say, AJ, the excitement goes for the early engagements.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Again, I don't want to see any safe plays out here. I want to see all-out action. But I know sometimes I ask for too much. GCT Arrow heading on into this matchup.
Oh?
One of the things that has just been blowing my mind is the fact that Crazy Minds have made their way back in here as one of the invited squads. But they are just, not finding any bit of luck out there at all.
Well, definitely crazy indeed if they're not taking advantage of that. But another crazy part is we have 3 teams in Sensosa. We have Nova, we have Round 1, as well as close behind Stellar Esports. King Goat right now with a mini Uzi tries to go for the battle, but Hayate is the first one to go down. Sambi King with MP40 managed to bring him out. Now King Goat unable to survive with Darius in the movement with that valiant dash, but Nova is still in trouble. They need to move out. They need to go for a revive, and we're seeing one of the players manage to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about Crazy Minds. Round 1's doing slightly worse than them. But this is a fantastic start for Round 1, though. Sending Nova scrambling. Nova's not a chump squad. Nova's a really good team in the competition who are well in the top 18 at the moment. But in that encounter, they just didn't look any bit like that. Royal Tigers in a early skirmish. 0-1 up against their players. Tornado. Quick plays with the P90. And I feel like Dex does not have the right gun on him. The mini Uzi just not doing him any favors whatsoever. But the rest of the 0-1 players dropping by to say hello. You want to take our players out? Now you're going to have to pay for it. But Flash with a very quick revival before the onslaught came through from the 0-1 players.
Flash in trouble, and there goes the takedown combination of both Lodix, Bao, and Gotti to bring them out. So 0-1, first one to go in for recovery, has pushed Royal Tigers out. But here comes trouble. Crazy Mind, despite of being low in terms of numbers and the chances for them to get into that knockout stage, they're still bringing in the fire. Gotti tries to escape, but will they manage to pull away from Crazy Mind, who's a little bit crazy right now after looting up so much?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Crazy Minds just going in straight up for the rush. They sent out the UAV. The UAV didn't manage to scan out anyone. They ran ahead of their UAV, just super excited to find these eliminations. But 0-1 is just saying, no way, Jose, as they back away from the equation. Gotti turning around to punish Mayota as well. Yep, Crazy Minds just don't chase anyone for the time being. Just hold back, boys.
Well, let's see. No one is holding back, though, against a GCT Arrow. A couple of players has been knocked down already. Riptide Rhythm, this might be it. But Dyke given an opportunity, but Palitoso will be taken down. So a third party being done by INV right now from afar. DZ is in battle, trying to chase down the ones who were recovering from the earlier fight. Round 1 is in trouble, but they're still ready for this rumble.
Yeah, man, they're still in round 1, so please have some mercy, DZ. As they quickly zoom their way out of there. Riptide Rhythm! Out of nowhere, DZ's got them flanked. Another Riptide Rhythm breaking down their defenses. Calvin with the AC-80 from the back. The back-to-back knocks coming on through. Lucas has been traded out here. And Kelvin straight to the job of pulling his buddy back up onto his feet. Lucas is back, but that was enough to slow down DZ. So the rest of the squad members do not get annihilated. Or one in the meantime with the revival. But round one needs to pull a couple of those for themselves as well.
Oh, well, Chrono, great shot. Riptide Rhythm before making it. Now goes for a stealth bites, making sure that no one from the rest of the squad will be able to spot him. INV going for the fight against Anova, who's missing Hayare, but Palitoso is still preoccupied by Van Dijk, so he will not be making those shots from above. And here comes Low, going out low on the ground.
Yeah, a little too low though. It's got 6 feet under. Erica, Trogon, looking for viability here. Oh, Nova with the revenge play there. Erica gets taken out of the equation. Nova waking up in the wrong time here. If you are looking at it from the INV perspective, Palitaso will be able to find a knock onto Van Dijk. And Nova, though, their chances of surviving this encounter thinning down. T-Kill unable to get out of this equation. Chrono M20. Oh, what a shot!
Perfect timing and a stealth bite as well, just to get away from that shot. And T-Kill is now recovering. Low is back in play. Mac 10 in hand. And movement from King Goat makes him survive. But Low still tenacious in that chase. INV with their 6th elimination. Erica needs to recover, but T-Kill will be spotted. And Nova Esports would be out of the game. And you were asking for chaos. This is chaos.
Oh, this is chaos with a capital K. Wait, what? Crazy Minds. 0-1. The battle once again. Crazy Minds trying to set it up, and 0-1's like, don't you see the circle has left us, boys? UAV sent out. INV scanning the compound with a UAV. Not going to find anything for the time being. Got a spray down. And Hack gets to whack from afar. There's pulled back. Lotex Bao saying these revivals are too easy, all thanks to the vending machine. Pianato, though, it will be a easy takedown for him, but the job is done for Lotex Bao already. 0-1 on the recovery now.
Oh, Crazy Mind going crazy right now. They were going for the chase against 2 teams earlier, and now they managed to get a lot of points out of that. DZ Calvin, though, managed to take down one of the players and eliminate out of 0-1, and both DC is just making work of INV. There's too easy for DZ right now, even if the zone's eating them up.
Yeah, in fact, they're making INV dizzy as they quickly scramble around the battlefield, looking for a couple of vehicles here to boost their way out of trouble and maybe into recovery mode once again. Erica, potentially the sacrificial lamb that will be distracting the DZ boys, but maybe one revival first. Erica, yes, brings Chrono back into play. DZ will, well, in the meantime, distract themselves with 0-1 Esports. And the remainder of whatever INV players that's left in here. Crazy Minds dropping by. DZ versus Crazy Minds. Crazy Minds picked a big, wrong fight now.
Oh, definitely Crazy Minds is in trouble. DZ right now, quick recovery on Calvin. Now, they are prepared to go against the Wolves, because you know the Wolves can smell where you are heading. Pianito! Well, Lucas was not ready to take that shot, but is now receiving shots coming from the guy himself. Riptide Rhythm to take out that blue wall. And both Lucas and Alex try to shoot at them, but into a little bit too close for comfort for the squad when Vex has been taken down.
A big punisher by Vex, but Alex with the quick recovery here, all thanks to the Chrono. M79 in hand, trying to nade these players out of position. Mayota chased down by Kelvin. Has got a level 1 Mac 10. What does he think he can do with this? But Vex is there for the backup. And Vegas with the M59, he still can't find the player just yet. Great distractive attempt by Mayota. Once again, getting the knock. Lucas slowed down. Yanito Mayo has got the Car 98 here. Mayota takes down the DZ player, and DZ about to be in trouble. Crazy Minds or playing this on a different level today. Perhaps they didn't pick the wrong fight. They picked the perfect one.
That's 10 points out of the 76 points that they need already, and this map is not yet over.
Man.
They want to farm points. They want to go clutch, but final
Punish
2
him.
days? Let's see if this is the time that they can bring in the numbers. It's going crazy. Mine's going crazy indeed, and DZ, it's looking like it's not easy for them right now.
No, DZ actually got a easy escape, all thanks to O1 Esports pulling in the distraction. Now they think they're hunting down DZ, they're chasing O1, but the boys are right behind them, and DZ gets to survive that crazy encounter with the Crazy Mind squad, who are looking a tad bit savage today. O1 on the recovery, double revival. Alex gets caught out as well. Now it looks like DZ is looking dizzy.
Yeah, he's not looking good for DZ at all. Now, they're just being farmed out of those elimination. And even the INV is capitalizing on that, keeping them their distance in most of those engagement. But that's second to the third phase already closing in. Let's see on where the next phase would be. I believe we're close to peak right now, and whoever takes that rooftop of that compound would be in a good chance of winning this fight. And this is ruthless. Definitely a good spot for them, but for now, 0 elimination, but it might change in a bit.
UAV sent out, Crazy Minds scanned out. That's 3 players. INV has got full info on Crazy Minds. They now know the danger the Crazy Minds can bring in here. Riptide Rhythm breaks down Myota's defense. The sniper out of the equation already. Instantly Crazy Minds in a pickle, but vending machines right there behind them. And Pianito says, thank you very much. I will spend my money, cash it in, low, cutting down the distance. They want to take advantage as the players on the side of Crazy Minds are one man down. Round 1 kind of rotating from the back as well. This could be a distraction that helps out Crazy Minds again.
Let's see, though. Round 1 has been a distraction for everyone in here. Myota, after being brought back, has an iota of a chance to survive because of how INV has been aggressive, and great movement coming from Chrono. And this is Sniper of the squad up close and personal. And there goes Chrono, but unfortunately a backstab did happen, and Chrono has been taken down. Quick revive, quick pickup has been done, and INV is still in play. 15 points already, and they're wrecking everyone into this fight.
Man, INV just wrecked Crazy Minds, but they're about to get wrecked by round 1 and their timely arrival as well. They pull out the lightning zone, trying to scare round 1 away, but round 1 ain't backing away. They know they've got a great big advantage. Revival coming on through. Palitaso and Chrono holding on for the side of INV. They want that vending machine.
Yeah, definitely they need to move fast, and Crazy Minds meet their end. A little bit too crazy, but we're loving it. Round 1, Dauras will not survive that drop, and this is another chance for round 1 to go for that revival. It's a 2v2 situation right now between INV and round 1, but INV doesn't have that vending machine just yet. They do have the coins, but they need to move fast if they want to revive their teammates and loot up.
Oh, Palitaso with the perfect revenge there, punishing the 2 revive players on the side of round 1. And round 1 now coming in for their own revenge. Can Palitaso get away? Car 98 in hand. He's got the glue wall, blocking both of the angles up against him, and he quickly manages to reposition, going for the vending machine play. Palitaso for the legendary run now. Can he bring his team members in safely? Answer is yes. 3,100 coins still left on him. This man saves well.
What a ring around the rosy in the tower, and the next hit with that launch pad still survives. What a Houdini move coming from Palitoso, but Chrono is a different story, being challenged by both Royal Tigers and a few players of round 1. I think Royal Tigers can take this point for themselves, but the deed has been done for INV. They can survive. Chrono trying to survive himself, but shots by Aizen putting pressure on him. It's a good thing that the rest of the squad backs away.
These trees you can hide behind. These trees can help save your life. Okay, but you gotta keep your butt in. All right, that's the rule of the game, man. You can't mess around. Sometimes having a big butt is a curse. Sometimes it's a blessing, though. Royal Tigers, 4 eliminations in hand. They don't have to do anything crazy. They don't have to pull a Crazy Mind sort of a strategy. They just need to get to the final circle, rock it with a booyah find some way to continue playing each and every single game down to their best, because final 6 games in their group stage run here, Royal Tigers far away, 60 points behind the 18th spot. That's a lot of distance to cover.
One reason why they back away, they don't want to be caught off guard trying to beat down one of the players of INV. And Palatoso did manage to survive though. A long flank he needs to make, but a full squad has been or is now back on their feet. DZ though trying to push themselves into Ruthless, but the good thing that Ruthless managed to take a compound for themselves instead of the rooftop, but I would still say the rooftop is one best way to take more of the elimination in this fight. Chrono being spotted on the binocular by DZ, but the question though is, will they be going for the push?
Oh, man, there's too many squads in here. It's about to turn chaotic again, and I love it. So, we're just waiting for that moment. Next circle is going to be pushing, forcing many of these squads out of position. I'm very sure. Tornado finding a shot by Palitoso. Out of the equation early here. INV makes that exit. DZ taking that final shot. Lucas with the car 98. Many of these players is absolutely in love with the car 98. 0-1 though will be victims to this lightning zone as they try to make it into this next zone. 10 seconds to figure out how to do so, and Ruthless is just plain mean for doing this to the other teams, but it was a brilliant move.
Yep, let's see now. Ruthless, only 2 elimination for them, but they're forcing DC into hiding. For Stellar Gaming, they're the ones hiding out, not really engaging that much though, other than the 2 elimination that they brought in, and they might be in trouble once Royal Tigers makes that rotation. But DZ still a safe spot, well, not from the lightning zone, but from everyone else. In the next phase of the circle, they still managed to step in, but they need to be careful because not only is Ruthless right next to them, they might be surprised by 0-1 as well.
Yes, that probably making the decision to attack 0-1 from the back here. Yoshi, oh man! Going for 0-1, but Ruthless will find the Stellar players right where they stand, knocking them down one after the other. The angle's just so unfavorable to Stellar Gaming. And they will lose their players continuously. Unfortunate, and DZ takes aim at Royal Tigers at the same time. Royal Tigers catching up in 0-1. Akash nading them to Kingdom Come, dismantling the 0-1 players, but recovery is there as now Royal Tigers get the advantage for this next circle. The question is, can they walk away with a booyah? A miraculous run might just be possible for the Tigers.
Let's see though, still have the Wolves trying to sniff them out, and one has been taken out, Nakash. Almost being eliminated as well. Here comes Ruthless going in for push, and Royal Tigers out for the count. 0-1 Esports managed to capitalize on their position against Stellar, and they might be the next one to go out. Now, a battle that we have been waiting for. DZ against Ruthless, and Ruthless seems like they're winning it, but a response coming from DZ is quite phenomenal. It's now a 2v2 on this side, and 0-1's right survive.
Yeah, DZ called, they want their bounty back. They're on the way to get their beautiful game. 15 eliminations. This is just the first one. And they're definitely going to look to potentially give Caesar a run for their money. 45 eliminations is the target. Let's see if or not these guys can overcome that within the 3 matches they play. They continue this. Sure as hell they'll be able to pull this off. 2 extra points, 17 eliminations just in this one game for DZ. It's now 4v1, and Ruthless stands 0 chances in hell of walking away with a booyah.
And there you have it. We have 2 easy for DZ getting that booyah, and we thought that they were down and out earlier for an early engagement, but you know how it is with DZ Esports. Recovery is quite fast, and especially with Lucas always on an overwatch, he would get all those points. But there's still a question of who will be the MVP in this game, because from everyone else, I think they've done so well in this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. DZ were super aggressive. They got themselves dizzy with a lot of attempts all around the battlefield, all around them. But somehow that was a big blessing towards the end, because like you said, like you pointed out really well, that this is a squad that can recover very quickly, very safely, be right back in here, high octane run through the battlefield. Even though it looked like they were about to get taken out of the situation, they proved that they were good at that, right? So great for them. Not only did they make the comeback, they also walk away with the booyah. They pulled what, a ZMF on us in this game. But DZ is a team that has already hit 3 booyahs so far in the group stage, Neptune, and I don't think that they will be shying away from a few more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it will be great if they can get 3 booyahs in a row, but we'll have to look out for a lot of contenders out here. As we look at the replay right now into the highlights, this is where we saw those initial battles really started off, and it was non-stop. There's not even a pause in some of those engagements, which I'm loving right now coming from the scenes.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was just back to back to back with all the eliminations. And Nova just, kind of unfortunate early exit off of this lobby. INV managed to punish them, and I think INV was quite pissed as well because initially Nova was getting these knocks, and it looked like maybe INV might just get eliminated a tad bit too early. But the recovery play off of them, off of those wild shots from the top, got them that win. But later on, INV went on to farm more points off of this lobby, right? I think quite a number of squads came across them, which they sorted out one after the other until O1 happened. Sorry, round 1 happened.
Yeah, I mean, round 1 is one of those surprises that we didn't expect really to happen. But we'll have to see, though. We'll have to see. Some of the changes might be done by a few teams in this mix, and we'll just have to find out if they can catch up in terms of point. But looking at how well DC managed to barricade themselves, wait for the perfect opportunity, then that's where we really see how the pros work in this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And, down to the very end, I think DZ kind of just tapered down the numbers on the opposing squads little by little, unknowingly, of course. They were just shooting at anything that moved, and just luck was on their side with the way those other squads moved. The circle advantage turned out to be a big disadvantage for the rest of the squads, regardless of how it was moving, because DZ was in that final circle. 5 eliminations, 7 assists, 4 headshots, 3,066 on the damage. Vegas, your MVP with the M590 and the Oscar. His valiant dashes, not just his, in fact, from any of the Oscars used out there, always a game changer as a disruptor up front.
Yeah, Silent Sentinel out of that J-Beams. Nikita as well for reload or the F590. And you know how it is. When you have a few of those derf, then you need to bring in a silver spoon coming from Joseph. But head-to-head right now, Paletoso from INV. We've seen him make those shots, even survivability towards the end. And he is in a head-to-head against O1's Gotti, who's also a good sniper from the squad.
Yeah, Paletoso is just nasty, man. His shots just unforgiving. But up against Gotti, it's not like Gotti just bows away, shy. He definitely put on a great show out there today on this match as well. And at the end of the day, as long as they can both keep this up, getting into the grand finals should not be a big problem for both squads. I say that though, but O1 Esports at this point of time, they are still not in the top 12 just yet. Now, it's not a goal to get into the top 12 for the group stage, but you definitely want to test your worth up against these other squads and see if or not you stand a good chance of making a way in there. O1 just not showing us that just yet. And as a matter of fact, they do not have a booyah to their name. And I think it's just one of those few teams in the top 18 that hasn't walked away with a booyah just yet. So maybe today's going to be that day.
Well, let's see now. I mean, they're one of the invited teams for a reason. So they might just be slowing down, making sure that they're top of a part of the top 18. And then we'll see more of that towards the knockout stage or like today and tomorrow. But there's plenty of chances for them, but I don't think they need that much because in terms of the gap that they have away from Delta C Sports is currently in the 19th spot. I think they're in a safe spot. So we just might be seeing a few more changes in their strategy right now. Probably switching it up to a more aggressive approach just to chase for the numbers, and then booyahs might come in a little bit later.
Yeah, I do agree, man. In the grand scheme of things, if you want to see exactly how much is it going to take a team like Shadow 7 or O1 Esport to jump into the top 12, it's not a lot at all, right? Within 20 points, they should be able to make this jump. But the only problem is Nova is the one that's sitting down in that 12th spot. Again, it's not a big priority, but it is obviously going to have them rest a little easier if they know that they are going to be able to just make that breakthrough into the top 12. And that's just an extra confidence booster before we get into the knockout stage, where you are now actually aiming for the top 12, because the bottom 6 from that 18 squad will get relegated, just like what we're going to do to the bottom 6 here in the 24 squads list that we've got left in. True Reapers are already out, but the rest of them beside them, Deltas, Fisher Tiger, Royal Tiger, Round 1, Crazy Minds, all in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. And one team that might be in trouble as well, who just played in the earlier part, is Team Flash, because they're very close. Or Stellar Esports is just right behind them, and Stellar Esports still have 2 matches. And judging from what Stellar has been doing in that previous match, is just about survivability. If they can bring that on double digits in number, then it's easy enough to take over that 18 spot, or probably pull away from the rest of the squad, because once you get to that 18, it's quite close up until the 13. So it's that shuffle might be happening quite oftenly.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yes, we are looking for the shuffle to, be quite active on the leaderboard here. But we're also trying to see which teams can keep it consistent and keep that climb to the top 12 as well. Have we just totally taken our sights off of the bottom 6? No. It's just that it's not time to focus on them just yet, mainly because of what the gap is looking like for the teams here, who are in the bottom 6, who are within groups B and D. You're talking about Royal Tiger, you're talking about Round 1, who are 73 and 57 points away from the 18th spot. So yeah, we'll bring them back into the conversation much later if they can score some big rounds. Because if not, I think it's as good as done, Neptune, because I think the past matches have definitely shown us what the teams are capable of. Today is their final time to show us that, are they going to have like this supposed explosive awakening so that we can really look out for them tomorrow.
Yeah, well, let's see though. It's getting tight on that 18 spot, but I do agree for some of the teams, especially on the bottom 6, it's getting even more and more difficult for them to catch up. If they can't bring in numbers, increase their averages, then it would be tough for them. So we might be seeing an overall standing the teams that we'd be expecting on knockout stage, unless a miracle happen, and that we are looking forward to that miracle to happen.
Yeah, it really depends on whether or not you are Mariah Carey, because there can be miracles. And sometimes miracles don't happen, man. You just got to go out there and you got to hustle. You got to make those right rotations. You got to make sure you're making the right decisions out there on the battlefield. It's going to be savage as we move on stage after stage, phase after phase. We're going to just be phasing out these squads who can't keep up with the pressure, right? Because we're not looking to just have some random competitions. We're looking for titans of the USA to represent the region in a very big way on other competitions as well. And this is that platform for you to go in there and really sharpen your skills, right? Yes, those scrims will come in handy, but nothing like some serious matches up against other squads who are equally as hungry. We are gearing up for this next game, and this next game is called Next Terra. That's exactly where it's going to be played. And this is where the M590s come in handy, Neptune. You've got some, of course, decent places where those snipers, those marksmen are going to come into play, but it's mostly up close and personal in terms of encounters.
I do agree. It's because of the number of compounds that we have in the mix, and this is where a lot of teams are taking advantage of those position, of those hiding spot to squeeze those revives in. Thus, in most cases, Nextera is where we see most of the elimination happen, because the players are just stepping in and out of the lobby and just dropping in there, and it's just getting tougher and tougher, especially if we still have not only those N590s but snipers in the mix, wherein we've seen so many times those who are dropping from a revive are just falling down like flies if they got spotted.
Absolutely, man. Crazy Minds were quite crazy earlier, but they got taken out of the equation way too soon. And what could have been a phenomenal game for them turned out to be yet another, I don't want to use this word, but for the lack of a better word, a disappointing run, right? Because, in their... they weren't doing themselves any famous whatsoever, because yes, they do need the points, but it's more important to get deeper into the circle, play for the booyah, potentially put yourself in a really good spot, because just through eliminations, how are you going to be able to farm 70 points off of the game? Because that's what they need. They need 73 points to jump into the top 18, Neptune. That's not easy at all.
That's a huge ask, definitely. And again, I don't want to go back repeating myself, the averages of the team. But here's one thing, though, that the team are, or what we are going to repeat is Zam team might not be joining us right here. So it's unfortunate for the team to not really bring in more numbers. But being in the 14th spot, I think they're still in a safe spot, though. And Shadow 7, despite of being eliminated early, are still in a safe spot. So that's probably equalize for them, but they need to hustle. If they can catch up to the final game, at least they can move up a little bit before that final day tomorrow.
Yeah, Zam team is just trying to give themselves a big disadvantage for the last day tomorrow. And I'll tell you why this is so risky, right? Because the teams who are below Zam team, who are in the top 18, are not too far away from them. They are like at max 14 points behind. And I'm talking about Stellar Esports, who's in the 18th spot, right? So they can very easily push Zam team down to the 18th spot by the end of the day if, of course, they just don't show up at all for this next matchup as well. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we try to heat up this next Terra map, let's see if or not the teams can take it a couple of temperatures higher. Nova heading on in with a potential early skirmish up against 0-1.
Oh, let's see. It's not looking good for 0-1 though, because Nova has already made their way, and there's a lot of teams who's dropping in same area, boxing gym, and Royal Tigers would be the ones first into that gym, and that pushes Nova behind. You see that they're trying to scan out who they will be dropping in, and Vex is one of those who's really in a chase. Like, no weapon, no problem. As long as he can see Dex, then he will be going in for the rush. But the good thing for Des, though, is he triggers as stealth bites and he will not be seen at all.
I'm sure. Well, let's see if or not he gets spotted out, because that stealth bites does not last long at all, man. Stella on the... There you go. They will be able to find him at the end. Vegas, early exit. DZ will be able to quickly recover that, taking out Dex, picking up his buddy as well in the very same move. Nova up against Royal Tigers on the other hand. Yes, there's a vending machine here. Yes, that's going to keep the squad alive and kicking, but Nova's just farming the rest of them, forcing Royal Tigers on a big reset.
Let's see, the Royal Tigers really need this reset because Tornado's only remaining right here. And I don't think he has enough queens. If he gets spotted, then that would be it for Royal Tigers. For DZ, though, we have one player within Boxing Gym who's trying to knock in the doors of Nova Esports. This might not be a good idea. Thus, he pulls away. And there you have it. It's Vex who managed to eliminate a final player, Tornado, out of Royal Tigers. And it makes that catching up a little bit harder for the team.
Okay, correction. Zam team could be pushed down to the 16th spot because I forgot about Group A and C who are not playing. So, but either way, that doesn't really help their case. Tomorrow is going to be a very tough day for Zam team. I hope they show up for the 6th match for this day. And as I say that, Nova on a rampage as they pick up those solid eliminations. Royal Tigers out. Stellar Gaming left with 2 here. And in a lobby with such few squads, we are running out of prey to feed on, say, the Predators.
Well, let's see now. Nova Esports now is getting close to a couple of players from DZ, and that UAV would spot them. So the chase would continue. Van Dijk right now, power foul in hand. I was expecting that. I was hoping that he does have a weapon, and does. But Alex, I think that M82B that he has might be deadly, but in CQZ, this is what Nova Esports is trying to capitalize on. Bring them under close and bring them out in this fight. And there you have it. We have Alex and Vegas out for the count. We'll have one more left. Lucas even taken down by 0-1. Didn't expect that to happen.
Smart use of the cryo mine with the Nero to spot out that player easily. Nova just farming together as a squad there. And Crazy Minds, on the other hand, again on a crazy run. This time, picking on Ruthless, a squad that has been very, very consistent in our group stage so far.
Yeah, consistent and cautious, because in most instances, they are pulling away from most engagement, find the final circle, but Rayfer goes in for a double recovery. Now, the only question, though, is will they be dropping the same spot where they might potentially be ended by Crazy Minds? INV, though, a lot of elimination in the early parts of this game. Oh, one! Wow! Calvin might be shut down. This might be the end for DZ, but a little bit delayed though for Calvin.
Oh,
And they
GG.
might be the ones going in for this rush. If he can make this, it would be a clutch on that revive. But no vending machine, almost being taken down, in and out. And this might be trouble for DZ.
yeah, man. DZ left dizzy. The curse is on. Gee, you gotta love it. You gotta appreciate the strength of these other squads here and a little bit of chaos tossed into the mix. DZ walked away with a phenomenal booyah in our Bermuda map, just the one that just ended, and now at Next Terra, you see how the booyah curses catches up with everyone, which is why it was so impressive what 1NT did earlier, right? They didn't get taken out right after that booyah. In fact, they found decent number of points before they got eliminated from their second lobby.
I do agree. I mean, this is a rare occurrence right now coming from DZ, but INV, great revive for the rest of the squad so they can continue on farming the points. And even if they don't survive towards the end, at least they are stacking it up with those numbers. But at this point, I'm still curious if anyone can catch up to what has been done by Cardinal Sur earlier. But Low managed to survive. I guess I spoke too soon. And a couple of knockdowns already for those coming in from that revive.
Yeah, but it also did all the work to revive them earlier. Now it has to do the work of picking them up from the ground as well. 0-1 trying to take advantage of the situation. Gotti getting into position. Chrono will be spotted out. Can cover. Riptide Rhythm! And Chrono punishes with the AWM. Riptide Rhythm fell short, but not that snipe. Easy pickup here for Lotex Bao, and he gets his buddies right back up on their feet. Erica with the pressure. Low. Erica sprayed down low now, looking for that vending machine, but by the time he rotates round, 0-1's going to be cutting off his rotations. They all know what's going to be important, but Low gets there in time. They can't believe they did not see that one coming.
Yeah, I mean, they did put up a glue wall, but it does have an opening. Thus, that revive has a little bit of leak into it. But here comes round one going against 0-1, and who's one, or which one is going to win this fight? Wow. On a P90 run, guys, go for rotation just to make sure that elimination is secured and a revive can be done onto Gotti, but no, needs to deal with Taurus, and it's round one who managed to get a few more out of them.
Yeah, just when you think round 1 + 1 will equal 2, they were trying to go in for a 1 - 1 and equal 0 if that had gone south, but round 1 just making sure that wasn't the case. Revives coming on through, easy peasy, forcing the team on a little bit of a reset here. So 0-1 Esports will have to see if they can make those revives happen. Dez and Lotex still hanging on for their dear lives. And Dez, like a Western movie now, on a rodeo, has enough just for one guy, but he's like, I will bring him back.
I thought you were going to say, I'll be back. I'll be back.
That's if he goes in for a 1v4. I'll be back. Yeah, we'll see about that. 8 eliminations for Nova. GCT Arrow has been silent so far. Not for long. Ruthless tagged up. Yoshi. Great glue walls. Runs out into the open but doesn't get punished through the flurry of shots that the squad of GCT Arrow were throwing against them. But Ruthless is going to get caught out here in this situation. Grab Labs on a split. They're going to lose 2 players here for sure unless the backup is strong from afar.
That's one thing that we expect, though. It's GCT Arrow who was on the hit list, and if it's the Ruthless who triggered that, then they're not going down. They're not even hiding. They want to find out who put a hit list on them and seek revenge. And GCT Arrow Pilon will need to be revived, and this Grab Labs does have a vending machine to do so. That's what Rayford managed to pull off, but will he be spotted? I think he's already moving away, not given a chance for them to beat him down.
Yeah, GCT knows their angles here. They know exactly where the vending machine is. The moment those players spawn right back out, they are looking to cut off the rotation of the player that just brought in those revives. Brilliantly played. Look at what's on move. But outside the circle, they go and It's not going to just give them those easy points just yet. Low-Tech's Bao will farm one. Ruthless having a rough run, Neptune.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they were expected to be hiding out, not really getting as much elimination, keeping the aggression from a distance, but it's not working for them right now because of what you mentioned earlier before this game. You don't have that much of a spot to hide out on the snipes, on the long-range engagement, and you need to work with it on the CQCs, but it's not the strength, I would say, for the moment, for Ruthless, unless they pull it up on a regroup and stay away for battle, but INV is making it difficult for that to happen.
Absolutely. And now Ruthless again in another encounter, this time up against INV, who might not allow them to get away from the situation. Again, the numbers just not on the side of Ruthless. Easy peasy for INV. Chrono finding Xpili. Shuts down Yoshi as well. Rayford taken out of the equation. INV just Ruthless as always, as expected. But they are! I thought they had one more survivor, but round one sorts that out.
Round one bringing in the fight on their round two. And let's see if this Nova Esports would be dying at this point. There goes a shot from King Goat. On point and accuracy with a headshot. Here comes Hayate trying to do the same thing, but unfortunately the glue wall stops him from doing so. And round one slowly faltering. Sambi King, the only hope for the team. And Nova Esports, I guess they are not Supernova. They're not a Dice Star anymore.
No, they're a flying star. They're a shooting star. Lots of shots there. And they take round one out of the equation. 14 eliminations for the side of Nova after they stepped into that previous matchup with a complete lack of aggression. This time around, 0-1. Finding some punishes here, but they just don't have the numbers to deal with the whole squad of the crazy masters of destruction. And it looks like Crazy Minds have thought out, their approach to the competition very well today. Earlier game, they had 10 eliminations, early exit. This time, looking slightly better. 11 eliminations, still 4-man strong. And Chrono finally into with the VSK. Oh man, INV. Just as I speak about Crazy Minds and their survival, INV's trying to end their run right here.
Yeah, I mean, we want to find out as well what happened to Crazy Minds on the earlier parts of this group stages, because looking at how they make it work, it seems like they had a good chance of bringing numbers, reaching that top 18 and not falling down far behind, but that would be something that they might be regretting and probably just bring into next season if they're still a full squad or same squad into next season.
Absolutely, man. Low-Tech Bao as he makes his way across the battlefield. Very lucky to not be spotted out so far. Crazy Minds, double knock coming on through. INV not letting go. They want these points. They might be able to farm 4 now. Long! Oh, Trogon, if that was a nade, that could have just been a game over move right there. But Lo just did not have those frags on him. Goes in for the manual shots. Gives away too much of time. And Crazy Minds on the recovery. INV does not get to farm 4 free points.
That's one thing, though. I mean, even in Trogon, we seldomly see a few of those launchers or grenades that they can pick up to use that on this weapon. But Low will be taken out by Mayota. Again, the snipers against snipers, against the frontliners is getting tough right now, but Low will be picked up. Erica goes in for that heal pistol, just to make sure that he recovers, and M2 will be taken down by Palitoso. So it's starting to dwindle, and here comes the frontliners, very close for the finisher.
Crazy Minds trying their darnest, man. Just everybody keeps stepping in their way, taking shots at them, and INV just doesn't want to let this go. Like an ex-girlfriend that just doesn't want to stop calling.
Well, let's see now. I don't know. They're starting to act as if they want to let it go. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore, bro.
No, man. Crazy Minds could not. And INV with the 12 eliminations on rotation now, looking for Nova, but they're going to be barricaded back. And GCT Arrow, a silent squad now, starting to make noise. Riptide Rhythm breaking down those defenses. Cryo Mine tossed out there as well. trying to pressure the players of INV. Now both GCT as well as Nova pressuring INV out in the open. Son Pugh with the shot. Woodpecker straight to the head. Low. Knocked down. And Chrono put down as well. Was Son Pugh on fire. But Nova now putting pressure on GCT, forcing them to reposition.
Yeah, I mean, Nova's a good spot right now because of the cover of the compounds, and they're not really moving in that quickly as possible. They could have end 2 squads right here already, and Low will be eliminated, and this is what I'm talking about. Nova now gets for that finisher, and they're still a full squad. Dealing with Stellar might be easy enough for Nova. We've seen it happen so many times, and the final player of 0-1 being taken out by SVD by King Goat.
Man, GCT. Son Pugh was on fire, but damn did he get snuffed out. 16 eliminations strong. Stellar Gaming, Stellar Esports, who were in the 18th spot before this match started, hustling their way to the final circle as well, staying quiet in a lot of these circumstances, and now that pits them right up against Nova, looking for the booyah. Stellar should have the loot to get this done, but Nova has got the momentum.
Yeah, they even have the shift of the
big
circle,
one.
so all I have to do is wait, but Van Dijk would have got bait against Limas, and that's one down already. Here comes the rest of the squad flying through, and they might be beating down the Stellar squad. This is a battle of the heavenly bodies that we have right here.
Oh, beautiful play. Counter by Stellar Gaming. Will be able to get them 2 players from the side of Nova. But those pickups are fairly quick on the side of Nova. Stellar, on the other hand, have not recovered their 3rd player just yet. This gives a positional and numbers advantage. But Garcia with the call gets the knockdown onto King Goat. Turn around, T-Kill. King Goat gets the job done, and T-Kill was there for the support as well. Nova secures a massive booyah.
Yep, definitely a massive booyah indeed, and this is what we're talking about. After being pushed down in the middle of the leaderboard, I would say in the top 12, this is a great comeback coming from Nova Esports. And again, Nova Esports is not a team that shies away from elimination, and this is just proof that they can bring themselves back up.
I mean, 0-1 survived quite a while. Stellar Esports survived quite a while. Everything that the ZAM team does not want, right? Because they've missed out 2 games already. We talked about teams that can push them lower on the leaderboard, closer towards the bottom 6. And Stellar and 0-1 just had to do exactly that, right? Brilliant play from them. And this is exactly what you teams have to do. If any teams don't show up, you have to play the pressure on them on the leaderboard for sure. But we've got one more opportunity. If ZAM team does show up, then escaping is fairly easy for this squad from that bottom 6. We know how good ZAM team is, especially with the eliminations. They've got great plays when it comes to mechanical skills on their squad. The only thing is, though, Neptune, I did not expect this game to be Nova's game. The way they pulled it off was just so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, like going away from those engagement or going in and out of those engagement is something that we rarely see on this fight. With Van Dijk on the snipe and helping out with the rest of the squad, like Hayate always in the front line with an M590, and he's just showing improvement day after day. From the early parts of the group stage, it seems like it was easy for Nova Esports, but what threw them off in continuing their run is the improvement that has been happening all through across the board for the rest of the team. So like, they just need to do the same, and they might be putting themselves back on top of the board.
And Nova personally put an end to DC to make it possible for them to earn a decent final circle and maybe even a booyah, because DC in the final zone would have definitely been very irritating to deal with. Crazy Minds, on the other hand, another crazy round full of eliminations, but they just could not get far enough to make it count for a booyah. They're still struggling. They're still far away from making it into our top 18. But Team INV, on the other hand, I mean, they are a team that's not really hunting for points. But this time, man, they did go ham. They found quite a number of squads, especially Crazy Minds and their rotations in. They even annihilated GCT Arrow. Wason Pugh was on fire. I have no idea how things turned around so quickly in that situation as Hayate woke up.
Yeah, that's one thing though. I mean, Wason at some point are off, or is off and off, but this time he was on. So GCTRO right now, it's just unfortunate that Hayate and the rest of the squad is just in a good cover to surprise both of this team. And even Stellar Gaming right now was caught off guard, but that final moment, that 1v1 we're in, T-Kill is just waiting for that perfect angle to make that shot. Phenomenal indeed for the Sniper squad.
Absolutely, just putting a lot of distance between himself and the opponent. Definitely a very risky move coming forth from the fact that they could have just gone in there for the pickup, and if there was a Tiba, if there was an Olivia on their side, I think it could have been very deadly, but we just don't see Tiba-Olivia combination coming in the USA. King Goat is your MVP. 7 eliminations, 6 assists, 5 headshots, 4.59k on the damage, and Oscar, the active skill of Annihilation that just gave him so much of disruptive capabilities up close and personal.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the same combination overall. I think this is one of the most favorite passive skills, like Nikita, the J-Beeps, and the Joseph. But head-to-head, still have King Goat on the mix, but Chrono, the sniper from INV, know that he can land all those shots with the M24, but it's just the damage that he needs to work with if they're going to go against King Goat. Because even at close range, King Goat can deal the damage, foot, hip, or a headshot. Definitely will bring the numbers to King Goat.
Yeah, probably not as impressive as King Goat, but Chrono 32 is definitely impressive with the numbers, 8 eliminations overall.
Wow.
But talking about eliminations, Nova harvesting 20 out of 83 eliminations in this next Terra lobby. We talked about how the lobby may be high in numbers from the eliminations, but just with the fact that 2 teams did not even show up and to still walk away at 83 eliminations, that's a lot, my friend.
Well, that's one thing that they need to work out with, because judging from how they did in Bermuda, they have 5 elimination and 20 right here. So still far off from the 45 that we're looking for if they want to beat Caesar for the eliminators of the day. But this might be a good chance for them to show up. Probably close to that 45 if they can pull it off once again.
Absolutely. Now we are down to the final game. But before we head on into this final match, we need to check out exactly where these teams sit, who's going to be in danger. Yes, this focus. We've got 24 teams in our group stage. And again, the bottom 6 will be eliminated. And if you look at the teams who are going to be playing now, you've got round 1, you've got Royal Tiger, Crazy Minds. These 3 teams are going to be playing in this next matchup, and we have seen Crazy Minds do a lot that has allowed them to climb over Royal Tiger in round 1, but they are still 66 points behind Flash, who are in the 18th spot.
Yeah, I mean, Fisher Tiger, definitely they can climb up a few more if they can get at least 1 point, but it's tough really to go against those who have made work in the earlier parts of this day. So Lara is one of those maps though that can bring a few numbers. I think seconding to Nextera in terms of most elimination that has been dealt with into the game, especially in the US region, because of how well teams has been moving in and out, and they have that combination of the number of a vending machine that they can bring their teammates as well. So no question that this might be a survival game once again for the final round.
Absolutely. Now, INV is the only team that's close enough to Caesar to overtake them through eliminations, to overtake them and sneak away the bounty of the day. Can they get it, or is Nova going to rip it away? We'll have to wait and see, because these 2 teams are definitely in position to get this done, Neptune. I'm looking forward to it. Does anybody else stand a chance? Maybe DZ if they get a massive game off of this final match.
I don't know. I mean, DZ, I think they are still a little bit dizzy and sleepy at this point because they're not bringing in the numbers compared to what we have. Or probably that 2 days in a row wherein they got that eliminator as enough already, and they're just giving it away for the rest of the squad. So that's a question that they will be answering. But we're looking forward to INV to bring in more numbers. Again, surprisingly, that even if they're not ending it in the high note of the placement, they're bringing in a lot of elimination. I believe the highest is 19, and then it was cut down to 12 on that second game.
Absolutely, man. And this next map is actually going to be Solara, which means INV does have a bit of an advantage when you talk about the eliminations. But what has been their weak point has also been Solara, because their rotations are very weak on this map. So although they can find eliminations out there, they haven't really survived it very long in the past 2 games that they have played on this map. So if this changes, if INV does get to that final circle and keep up their aggression, we could actually see them walk away with the bounty of the day. We'll have to wait and see. Again, Nova is still in play for it. DZ is still in play for it. And Caesar's already got one hand on it, waiting, watching, seeing exactly what's breaking down here. Neptune, one more match to call who walks away with the bounty.
Yeah, I mean, 14 points. I think if INV does the same thing that they did in the first game, then they can easily get that and steal it away from Caesar. As Caesar was just aggressive earlier in the first half of the day, but it would be disappointing for them. I would want to see if they can keep that rage on throughout the knockout stage, because or next time these 2 teams beat up on the groupings, because we only have tomorrow to see that happen. But let's take a peek on where the teams will be dropping in, and want to find out where the drop spot will be, as we have the flight path already set. It is coming from Aquarium, heading into south of Waterfall, and I'm just hoping if any early engagement will be happening, especially in TV Tower.
So this is a really decent flight path, so everybody's just going to have their own spots to deal with out there. But obviously, we're going to find some hot drops in this game. We have got a potential clash between the Crazy Mind Squad as well as Royal Tigers. Now, these 2 underdogs taking on each other is just not going to do either one any favors unless they go on an infinity farm. Elimination, revive, elimination, revive. And they rinse and repeat till both of them get into the top 18.
Yeah, this is where everyone counts to 4. And they know, like, counts to 3 before to make sure that they don't eliminate the squad. And this is one example of that. Well, Crazy Mind, with 1 player, a revive might happen, but they need to wait a little bit more. But a fight might ensue right now between Stellar and Round 1. Stellar Esports, though, how slow they are, they're moving quite differently this time around.
Yeah, Ruthless is in a fight as well. One of the players just got taken down. Round 1 versus Stellar. On the other hand, Stellar still not out of hot soup just yet. They are fairly close to the bottom side of the 18 squad. So obviously, making a climb up a little bit higher is going to be imperative. But what a position here for Johan! Parafal from up top gets them the double knock. Kristen now inside of the glue wall, will not be able to do much at all. Round 1 brilliantly sorts this out. Limas desperately trying to get away. Pumsy does not have a sniper that keeps Limas alive and kicking, that keeps the squad alive for now.
Let's see, we are seeing Lightning Zone being triggered by 0-1. This gives them an opportunity to go in for that revive. And there goes healing being done. Despite of being damaged off the Lightning Zone, they are still back in play. The only question, though, is can they gather up all those coins to bring back one of their teammates, and as well as prepare an exit strategy, because that is what they need right now. Here comes Lodix Bow back in play, and Nova Esports will be stuck in the corner. Lightning Zone would be stopped, but shots by Gotti out of nowhere. Shield gun being used, but unfortunately those slide rails will be used by Kingo to get away, and this might be the savior for Nova Esports. They see GCT Arrow as they pass by, but they are not phased at all. No one is stopping, and let's see if they can deal with Yoshi, but it's just unfortunate. One of the players from Nova was spotted out by Wason Pew, and that's one elimination for GCT Arrow. But the battle is not over. 0-1 Esports knocks on GCT Arrow's door. It's a good thing they have backup in play that can pick them up.
You got that backup, you got those pickups, and now 0-1 needs to scramble. Thanks to the slide rails, they almost get out of there, but Wah gets sprayed down halfway through. Dez, it's not really the best of ideas, but he is trying to distract the rest of the GCT Arrow players so that they go hunting for him instead of his partner, who's on a recovery spree looking for those revivals, and it looks like that attempt was a successful one. Dez pulls the distraction, but Stella taken out in the 10th spot.
Oh, it's just tough. We thought that Stellar Esports in a waterfall might be able to make a comeback at this point, but it's just getting tougher and tougher for most of the team. GCT Arrow, after being brought down early with the introduction of round 1, they're the ones dealing with 0-1 rather. They're the ones dealing with 0-1, and now full squad with 4 elimination. They need to make work of where they would be heading next, because I think Wason is seeing a few of the players, and Hoops with a VSS. Will he be able to knock down Wason? He switched to M590. This is a deadly Wason overall.
How about Wason with a valiant dash? Plays the timing so well, turning the situation around. Although he was at a disadvantage, he turns that into a massive advantage through that Oscar that he clips on. 7 eliminations for GCT Arrow, and round 1 scrambling away from Windmill.
Real looking forward to how well they can rotate out this zone. Will be closing in a bit from first and second, and a lot of teams are still hanging out outside of first phase of the circle. They need to move fast. Those light rails will help them. Vehicles can help them as well, but the team that will not be helped is both Royal Tigers and Crazy Mind, both trying to go for aggression to catch up to the point, but it is Royal Tigers who seems to be being beat down by the Crazy Mind.
Ah, man, Crazy Minds. Again, aggression engagements looking solid, but just can't seem to get that consistency up in play to go for a booyah, because they need massive points. But the early aggression leading to oftentimes a early exit from the lobby as well, Neptune.
Yeah, let's see though if they can get away from that. Now, Nova Van Dyke being shot at by the players of Crazy Mind. They might have been thinking that this is the guy that they're chasing on, but it's another point going in for the side of Crazy Minds. Recovery can be done by the teams of Royal Tigers. It's not over for them just yet. 9 teams remaining, and there goes a full revive for Royal Tigers when we thought they were almost taken out.
Absolutely, man. Oh, but dropping by to say hello is one Royal Tiger versus Crazy Minds. Crazy Minds showing that their luck has not run out just yet. Hack, although he did get knocked down to the ground, recovery is instantaneous. The backup arrived just in time before he got eliminated from that equation. Ruthless, very close to the squad, but I think Pili's on a little bit of a recovery play, looking for more coins to bring Yoshi back into the lobby.
Well, let's see. INV. And this is a team that is chasing for that bounty for the day. And round 1 might be a few of those food that they are starting feed off, but you can see how well round 1 is spreading out. They don't want to be taken out quite easily compared to what we've seen earlier, where they stay in one spot, but what a headshot with a Winchester, not even giving Sambi King a chance to survive.
Absolutely. 4 eliminations now. Oh, round 1. Man, these guys are not catching a breather at all. Pressure comes through once again. And INV usually does not walk away unless they secure these numbers. And thank goodness they were split up, because round 1 could have been annihilated in that situation. Pauzi does the team a huge service, collects enough coins for a full squad revival.
Oh, let's see though. It is getting tough for a lot of teams right now, but I guess for the past 2-3 minutes, we still have the 9 teams playing, so I'm really loving to how well they will be able to manage towards the end. The zone is slowly closing in. It's heading up north towards Min Mill and part of Delta Isle, and those who are hanging back, especially those in the hub right now, needs to move, and they need to move fast. But a little revenge mission from Royal Tigers to beat down some players of Crazy Mind. Up close and personal duel expires, but it's just an ankle breaker through the slide rails, and Pianito playing it like a fiddle.
Oh, what a play. What a play indeed. This is just brilliant in terms of repositioning. Aizen's going to get caught out, man. Pianito knows this compound like the back of his hands. Now just on the chase here. Aizen's going to get caught. Has got the shield gun, Pianito. Trogon as well. Aizen does not get the reversal punisher. And the valiant dash finisher. Royal Tigers royally annihilated by Crazy Minds.
It's just unfortunate. Royal Tigers try to recover, to revive themselves, but they double back, chase Crazy Mind, and now that is the result. Now another team into contention. And the coin has been inserted, and Crazy Mind has a new challenger. Let's see, round 1 has what it takes. There goes a battle, but Dower still goes down. Now, Pianito with an M590, and Crazy Mind giving an opportunity to go crazy once again.
Oh, Bouncy just got the squad back in here, and they're getting tortured once again. And the next contender that puts the coin into the machine is also a team that shares the bottom 6 with the rest of the Crazy Mind squad. Sammy King, the final player left in here, but round 1 also annihilated by Crazy Minds. Crazy Minds taking out 2 of their biggest competition down in the bottom 6 so that they can climb up a little higher.
12 points already, and we still have 7 teams remaining. Now they need to move fast because second to the third phase of the circle will hurt, and a lot of teams is knowing that right now. They are moving into next phase of the circle. One of those is DZ Esports, who got dizzy earlier in this fight, now still in recovery mode as they try to bring their teammates back as well as regroup. But those teams who want to catch up in numbers, those teams who want to stop them is GCT Esports. So are they prepared for this battle?
Well, GCT Arrow with the lightning zone trying to pressure DZ, but DZ's fairly well protected under cover. So a little bit of a wasted effort through the lightning zone. Big coin waste here. But if they can get the eliminations, then this is not going to be too much of a disadvantage. They have to camp at the vending machine, though, to prevent those revivals to come through.
Well, see, 14 eliminations from GCT Arrow. And this forces DZ to split out. Now, they have a UAV that's spotting out one player that is Lucas from afar, and it gives an opportunity for Calvin to move away, or vice versa. But Lucas spotted already, shots onto him, and he might be the first one to go down. That gives Calvin and a slight rails, and they might be out of here unless GCT Arrow shows otherwise. And Lucas goes for a double back, trying to distract them and not chasing Calvin.
Yeah, Ruthless gets one player of DZ as well as they scramble. Nova versus Ruthless. This was something that they did not expect. Van Dyke with the double, Van Dyke with the triple, and the cord just tagging everybody up here. Rayford needs to be careful. The rest of the Nova squad just allowing the damage to be brought upon by the blue zone. The knockdown comes through once again. This time it's King Goat with the cord. Man, all of these players are just slaying with the LMG at this point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you break down glue walls, good opportunity for you to take down the opponents as well. No Esports, though, back in play, full squad, but only low on elimination. Only 5 for them. But they need to move fast because from here on, they might be meeting up with some players of GCT Arrow, but I think they triggered that the binoculars right now. But on the other side, it's INV. Dealing with the players of Crazy Mind, and I thought the Crazy Mind will still be in a role right now, but I think they still have some weaknesses that they need to fix.
INV needs 7 more eliminations to catch up, 8 more eliminations if they want to overtake and grab the bounty of the day. Can they get down to the end here? That's the biggest questions. Nova, 8 eliminations. Cars on fire, can't drive in. At the edge of the next zone, 0-1. Oh, Palitoso from afar. Ruthless still in danger. But this is that Valiant dash that just fails. And Wasanpiu all alone. Has to get annihilated here. How is he still surviving?
We'll see now. I mean, the movement coming from Wasan is definitely on point. And he's just going in, hiding out of the glue wall. Now, 0-1 left him behind. What a move. What an escape coming from Wasan. But the only question, though, is will he be able to make that vending machine? Will he have enough coin and clutch that revive for the squad? And will they survive that drop?
Yeah, 0-1 probably just said, this guy is so irritating, he's going to put us at a disadvantage if we look for this extra point. Let's just get away, man, because this little happy feet just tapping all around. It's way too quick for us to catch. And the rest of 0-1 focuses on the circle prioritization first. INV, though, on the hunt. Outside the circle, and DZ annihilated. Rafer will find one for the side of Ruthless. And I think INV wants to annihilate Ruthless now as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mission is done already. If they want to be eliminators of this day, they've done it already. But there's still a lot more work to be done. Chrono, the
Don't
moment he
stand up.
peaks, that might be it. He's slowly moving, slowly recovering as well. But his zone would be eating him up. And no, there you have it. On the second shot, he made it. And INV on the roll in terms of elimination.
INV. Bounty, come to daddy, they say. Let's see if or not they get to wrap things up solid. 17 eliminations. I think it's safe to say these guys are going to walk away with it, man. Chrono makes it 18. Fantastically played so far. Van Dijk right down below. Palmer, INV, M590 into the time turner. He goes backed up by Hayate. But that's the wrong squad. Nova taking advantage of this chaos.
Oh, and we lost two of the players. Booyah might be taken by Nova right now, but they need to deal with a few more teams. The PT kill, they lost one of their snipers, but on the CQZ, where the next phase would be, this is where they need to be on point. INV being spotted, but 0-1 trying to go for the backstab. This might be the distraction that Nova needs if they want to take down INV from this fight. But Nova's not moving that fast. The shift is already showing low on the level of movement, but it's Mandike who managed to bring him down.
Man, that card just not giving anybody a break at all. Whoa, what a nade. Not finding anyone though. Hayate, backstab, M590 finding power. Chrono trades one out. A GCT arrow eliminated from the equation. 0-1 Esports still alive and kicking here. Nova trying to annihilate INV, but the opposite is happening. INV stands tall. Kingo takes down Palitoso. Two more survivors left here for INV, and 0-1 itching to get into the fight as well.
INV might not be chasing for that booyah, but elimination has been done already, and no one's close enough to smell and taste that booyah for their side. Chrono might be able to bring one down, and it's Gotti who managed to eliminate Chrono. Only one remaining, King Goat, and this might be it. 0-1 for the booyah in the final game of today.
0-1 picking up the booyah. Phenomenal. Their first booyah off the group stage. And this is just increasing the tally of the unique booyah holders that we've got here in the group stage. Phenomenal to watch this happen, Neptune. A total of 18 teams now have secured a booyah for themselves as we make our run through the competition.
I'm really happy that INV managed to catch up in the points, and then 0-1 managed to get that booyah in themselves. And I do agree, we're really loving that not only one team is dominating, or not only a few teams dominating that booyah board. A lot of teams are being given that opportunity. So we are seeing the evolution of how USA is. From the previous season, the earlier season of Free Fire tournament or esports, when it got reintroduced, it's just elimination. Who got the most elimination? Now the booyah is being spread across the board. They're identifying what is needed for that champion rush, and they're putting it into play as early as this.
Absolutely, man. I'm still curious on whether or not these crazy guys managed to do it. INV on the run for the bounty of the day. And you know, it's a blessing to go, in the second half of the competition, because then you know, okay, this is our target, and you know, you can do simple math, quick math to climb up the leaderboard. Let's check out a little bit of the replays from the matchup itself, because, you know, it was actually a decent run from Royal Tigers. If they weren't so far down the bottom six, I would say that this was a decent game for them, but unfortunately, it's not enough, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, even for those teams who are slowly catching up, like Crazy Minds, it's definitely not enough. And this might be one way of them feeling that if they have done quite a bit in the early parts of the group stage, then that's where they could have make it to the knockout stage. But miracles might happen if they can run 3 games in a row with decent amount of elimination, then they can catch up. And that's provided that those they're trying to catch up doesn't get that much point, but it's more of a them problem rather than a you solution.
Absolutely, man. Ruthless was on a survival run for as far as they tried to, push this forward, but Nova then came across them, just shutting down their players one after the other, and they still proceeded to survive that encounter with a couple of more revives. So I've not actually seen a team like Ruthless in a long, long while. It seems like they didn't really want to go for these eliminations. They just try to see how long they could survive without getting into a gunfight. Interesting experiment they are running.
Well, definitely experiment that is worth to be seen most of the time, but I am really loving that. There's a few turn events right now that is not favoring just one team. Now, speaking of favoring one team, I'm still looking forward to how many eliminations does INV manage to pull off in this point. But before we go there, let's celebrate a little bit to all-one Esports, the first booyah of this group stages for the team, and I'm really loving that they are slowly growing into numbers. Full elimination coming out from Gori, the sniper of the squad, 2891 in damage, and not a usual sniper build compared to what we've seen from the past.
Absolutely, man. I mean, Skylar obviously rocks it as the main skill for the sniper, but Suzy maybe 50%. Otto is just way off of meta, right? But Gotti kind of got it in this game, although he was running off meta. Something worked out for him. Maybe this was an accidental pick. Maybe he really thinks this one works. Either way, the squad managed to walk away with a booyah, so we can't complain much. 7 versus 7 eliminations in this head-to-head between Wason Piu and Paleto. So 35, 5k versus 3k on the damage. But you see where the headshots show you exactly who's a tad bit more accurate with these engagements. But of course, Wason Piu with the M590 to the head, up close and personal, makes it a tad bit easier.
Yeah, well, let's see now. Paletos is one of those that we don't see often, but damn, 20 elimination coming from this game. I'm sure enough they managed to sneak away that bounty away from Caesar, and well, they just did what they have to do. Even without booyah, they managed to bring themselves a little bit higher on leaderboard, close enough to Zeus Esports to be smelled and felt.
Indeed. Only one booyah here for INV, but no booyah, no problem. They've got the eliminations on their side. Again, Ruthless, kind of going with a similar strategy as well. No booyah, no problem. No eliminations, no problem for Ruthless as well, right? Because they've been hyper-focusing on their placement points. Very interesting, because it seems like some of these engagements Ruthless could have definitely taken. They could have definitely gone in for a big team fight, but at the end of the day, they're not going in for these engagements at all. Just scurrying around the battlefield, desperately trying to force the vending machine plays, only taking fights when they cannot get away from those engagements. So I am going to keep this squad as one that I'll definitely look out for in the grand finals. They could just run away with it if they do this once again when we get to the final day.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, one of the team that has the highest top 3 rate is Ruthless, and again, I do agree. Without the booyah, at least they're bringing themselves close to that final circle, and they have equalized even the placement points with DZ Esports, who has 4 booyahs out of the group stage.
Yeah, I mean, you said they have one of the highest top 3 rates. They have the highest top 3 rate, Neptune. So Ruthless is crazy. And even though they do have the top 3 rate highest being in terms of percentage, they just are not showing it through those eliminations. And INV will overtake at the top through the eliminations, and they will get the bounty of the day. Caesar thought they got it done, but INV snuck it away on the final corner.
Yeah, they did it even better. Even without a booyah, they are just rocking it with elimination. Highest damage though overall. It's very close between DZ Esports as well as Zeus Esports. Now, one question, one clarification why we're showing this is because we also have another bounty in terms of the most damage, and the winner will be getting $500 US.
Oh man, this is a lot, right, in terms of a little bit of a build-up towards the bounty for tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think Zeus Esports wants to get a taste of that. They've come close many a times, but just not close enough to get the job done. And I don't think they'll be too happy with that, right? So I think tomorrow, the final day of the group stage, I think Zeus is going to wake up.
Well, let's see now. Zeus can wake up. Zeus can be sleeping in the cloud, just raining thunder towards the rest of the squad. That's one thing that we want to see. But those who we really want to wake up are the ones close enough towards that 18 spot. If those who are already on the top 18 will be sleeping, not getting their coffee, and just like being eliminated away from every goal that they have, then they might lose that opportunity even if they're already on that spot before tomorrow's game.
The bottom 6 is where the story is. We saw a lot of action from the teams in the bottom 6 today, but is that action going to be phenomenal enough to keep them surviving the group stage? We'll have to wait and see. Like Neptune said, tomorrow, the final day for the group stage. We shed the bottom 6 by the end of the day, and we set up our knockout stage. Only the best 18 teams can survive. Only the best 18 teams will be given the opportunity to put on a show for us so that they can entertain us through all of the chaos out there. It has been an absolute pleasure bringing the show to you guys once again today. My name is AJ. I'm the Mustache down here with the one and only Neptune the Gentleman Garcia signing off. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.
Focus, aim, ready. Focus, aim, ready. Speed up in the race, fall back, no chase. Turn up with the bass, gotta level up your game. Looking for the fight, target inside. A knife or an eye, gotta level to the sky. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. Got nothing to lose and I'm coming for you. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I pull the trigger. Higher level. Higher, higher level. I pull the trigger. Higher level. I pull the trigger. Higher level. I pull the trigger. Speed up in the race, fall back, no chase. Turn up with the bass, gotta level up your game. Looking for the fight, target inside. A knife or